What's going on, y'all? We are back. JB Wans, Dogon SS. Appreciate you for checking us out with another edition of Conscious Approach on YouTube. As always, download the podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Check out the show on Instagram and TikTok at Con Approach, CONAPPROACH. And if this is your first time checking us out, man, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications whenever new content is published to the channel. We certainly appreciate it. And as we always like to say, we don't take for granted the value of your digital currency. It is very important. It takes a lot of effort to actually hit the subscribe button. It means that you get value out of the content that we deliver, whether you agree or disagree. And that's the highest form of flattery, at least online, because digital currency is tantamount to actual currency these days. And we thank you very much for your patronage in that regard. Can't say that enough. It can never be said enough times because it is important. And we do like to let as many of our listeners and viewers know that we understand and appreciate what it means to actually subscribe to a channel. I mean, I don't subscribe to 10% of the content that I consume in totality. So speaking as somebody who is very selective with when he chooses to actually subscribe to something or want to get notified whenever something comes along because I'm that interested in it, we appreciate that very much. Now, we are not going to dilly-dally. We are going to get right into it. We got a lot of interesting topics to talk about tonight. The first thing that we are going to discuss is friend of the channel, Stephen A. Smith, who is currently at odds with the National Association for Black Journalists. Now, the National Association of Black Journalists, an organization that is meant to uplift Black journalists in the profession and to uplift Black professionals in the journalism industry. They are a staple of Black journalists, been around for a very long time. They have an annual conference that they hold each and every year. Stephen A. Smith has actually taken the First Take show to a National Association of Black Journalists conference. I believe they were in Chicago. If not last year, then maybe it was in 2024 when First Take was there at the behest of Stephen A. Smith. So there's what I thought at least was a friendly relationship, but apparently not, because this past year, the National Association for Black Journalists gave Stephen A. Smith the dishonor of a thumbs down award. So that is what we are going to get into because Stephen A. Smith feels slighted by this. He's rebuked the dishonor on social media. And we also have some video that I found of Stephen A. Smith on the Sean Hannity show, where they talked about this and Stephen A. expounded on his disappointment as to in regards to the NABJ giving him a thumbs down award. So first we'll get into this. Stephen A. Smith on getting thumbs down award from NABJ, Christmas arriving early. The National Association of Black Journalists called out Stephen A. Smith at its annual convention this year, presenting the ESPN analyst and podcast host with a thumbs down award for what the organization described as a sustained pattern of harmful commentary about prominent Black women. The award was announced at the NABJ Salute to Excellence ceremony at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in Atlanta on August 15th. In its citation, the organization stated that Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent Black women across politics, sports, and media that reinforces harmful narratives and undermines the fair and respectful representation of Black women in public discourse. Smith's recognition was one of a record 5 thumbs down awards the NABJ handed out this cycle. The other 4 recipients were FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, CBS News Dewan McCoy, CBS News, so that was another one of the ones, CBS News, Dewan McCoy of Circle City Broadcasting / Wish TV, and the Washington Post. This is the epitome of Christmas arriving early, he wrote. The NABJ wants to call folks out. Fine. You had your turn. Now mine is coming. And make no mistake, I'm coming. Let's see who really deserves a thumbs down award when it comes to the Black community after I say my piece. Remember, at NABJ, you asked for it. I shut my mouth for years. Now y'all started something. NABJ President Aaron Haynes framed the awards not as punishment, but as a prod toward accountability. The goal is not permanent condemnation. The goal is progress, she said at the ceremony, but progress does not happen without pressure. Haynes also addressed corporate partners directly, making clear that financial ties to the organization carry no veto over its editorial independence. Partnership does not mean silence. Partnership does not mean that you write a check to NABJ and we surrender our voice. Disney, the parent company of ESPN, where Smith is a prominent on-air figure, maintains a partnership with the NABJ. The award for Smith arrives against a backdrop of public clashes that have shadowed him in recent months. He feuded publicly with Representative Jasmine Crockett in late 2025, but later apologized and was the target of a profanity-laced rebuke from NBA star Jaylen Brown in May. Kevin Hart also joked at his 2026 roast show that Smith, quote, hates Black people, a line Smith said stung like hell. So let's get on out of here because I do want to play this video clip from the Hannity show. Now, we shouldn't get flagged for this. It's a news segment, so I'm pretty sure we're safe on copyright stuff. But here is Sean Hannity and Stephen A. Smith discussing this on Hannity's show on Fox News.
First of all, this frustrates me as your friend. I get more angry when my friends are attacked than if I am attacked. We have been friends for decades. You won't even let me tell people what I know you do for minority communities, will you? If I started to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. Am I right or wrong?
That is correct.
Okay. So it frustrates me that people that don't know you are making ridiculous allegations like this. Now, doesn't this have to do specifically with your criticism of radical people on the left? And you did mention a couple of African-American women at times, Jasmine Crockett, who says nutty things, Joy Reid, who says, in my view, nutty things. Is that what this is about?
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it. And that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous. I was raised by 5 Black women. My mother, God rest her soul, and my 4 older sisters. I have 2 daughters. I have 10 nieces. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I find it highly offensive that they would label me in this way. Give me a thumbs down award specifically for disparaging Black women. I want everybody out there to know there's no such thing. That did not happen. That is a flat out lie. And that never happened. Whether it was Jasmine Crockett, whether it was Kamala Harris, whether it was Michelle Obama, I pointed to something that they said that I may have disagreed with. That is all. That is all that I have done. And
you said about Michelle Obama,
as well.
She could win. That's what I remember you saying about her.
Yeah, but what? No. Yeah, but remember what happened is that I said that I did not appreciate her saying that a vote for Donald Trump was a vote against women, because I said there are a plethora of reasons why people go to a poll. Some people might prioritize the economy, immigration, safety in the streets of America, national security, etc. There are a plethora of reasons why somebody would choose to vote. To sit up there and to say to African-American men that a vote for Donald Trump would be a vote against women, I said, I don't think that's fair. And that's what I said. My point is, whether you agree or disagree, how does the word disparaging come into play? Or to talk about me degrading and denigrating Black women? No, I had a difference of opinion about something that they may have said. And that is all. But a journalistic organization that's its foundation is supposed to be based on objectivity, and most importantly, uplifting African Americans within the journalism industry. Well, excuse me, what have I accomplished in my career? Where am I sitting at right now? On September 29th, I'm about to be inducted into the Broadcast and Cable Hall of Fame. I've established myself as one of those people in this industry, but I'm not a Hall of Famer for the NABJ. I brought for my national television show, First Take from ESPN, in concert with ESPN and the great bosses that I have. We brought First Take, a nationally televised show, every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on ESPN. We brought it to the NABJ conference. When have you seen a nationally televised show broadcasting live from a journalism convention? I did it the last 2 years in Chicago and Cleveland, respectively, but I don't show up this year and all of a sudden I receive a thumbs down award, I think it's utterly ridiculous, and I called them on it.
Okay, so that pretty much is the gist of that exchange. What do you make of Stephen A. Smith's rebuttal, and what do you make of them giving him this thumbs down thing, basically saying he's disparaging prominent Black women in sports and media?
I just think that I think that this is a high level spat between two elitists. Stephen A., who himself is an elitist in this non-applicable BJ place. They're also, I'm sure they have their own elitist thing that they have going on there. So this seems to be some type of quarrel that they have amongst themselves, a little dirt flinging. He brought up a good point there where he pretty much dropped the mic, basically saying that, hey man, I came 2 years straight or whatever he said, and then I don't come, and now all of a sudden I get a thumbs down. So yeah, it seems like they're using their media powers, if you will, to disparage him. And listen, I'm no Stephen A. Smith defender. All right, I'm no Stephen A. Smith defender. All right, I believe he tap dances with the best of them. And in actuality, he said, "Now I'm going to be a National Broadcast Hall of Famer, but not a NABJ one." And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, bro, you tap dance with the best of them. I mean, one of the things that popped up in my mind as he was talking is the fact that he does these things for the aesthetics of them. Am I going to question his intent and his morale? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Am I him? Am I in his head? Am I in these circles? No. But, I take him as a person who does these things so people can't say that he don't do these things.
Right. Yeah.
When the whole, George Floyd situation happened, and, the NBA is doing their thing and everybody's doing their thing, and, he's wearing an HBCU jacket on the set. It's like, bro, you should have been wearing that before all of this. You should have been this guy repping and doing all of these things when it wasn't popular, it wasn't trendy, it wasn't the thing to do. And so a lot of his pro community stuff seems performative. So I take it with a grain of salt. For Hannity to get in there and say, if I came in here and said all the stuff that you've done for you coloreds, well, how would you wouldn't want me to say those things? No, I wouldn't. But every time that I know that Stephen A. Smith has done something for Black people, it came from Stephen A. Smith's mouth. He's the one that's telling me all the damn time that he's looking out for Black people, that nobody else like. And then later on, after he said, no, I will tell you to stop. Then he proceeds to say all the good things that he has done for Black people. So that's always been his thing. Last thing I'll say before I let you go, it's like talking to a female and she's telling you about all the things that she don't do. Oh, I don't do that. Oh, I didn't ask if you don't do that. Now I know you do that. So all of this stuff is like, yeah, I do this for Black people. I do that for Black people. It's like, look, bro, if you as solid as you say you are, there'll be people coming out of the woodwork to say that for you. But every time that I hear all of this stuff where you're constantly defending yourself, to say that you're a pro community, I'm not buying it. So, but at the end of the day, I still think that the way that this looks aesthetically, I think, Stephen A. has a point here that, hey man, I finally didn't, do what y'all wanted me to do. I finally didn't come through and this, and all of a sudden y'all want to play funny, and then use this as an excuse. I think he has a point there, but then again, I think this is just an elitist quarrel. But what are your thoughts, bro, about Stephen A. Smith defending his name and honor and dignity against the NABJ, saying that he gets a thumbs down? What are your thoughts, bro?
I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be fair. he does have a point.
Mhm.
Now, he also has a problem, which I'll get into later.
Mhm.
But up front, what he is saying, I do find to be accurate. He does have a point. There's a guy who's really big on YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Anton Daniels.
Yeah, yes.
So yeah, Anton Daniels, he is routinely called out, probably by the same people who call out Stephen A. Smith, because he is proudly a Black Republican. He upholds himself as someone who is freed from the Democrat plantation. He doesn't believe in the traditional ideological position of voting Democrat merely because you're Black. He's divested from the notion of identity politics. He's very much staunchly conservative, staunchly Republican, staunchly traditional. And so as a result of that, he will often say things that are critical of the work that prominent Black people in politics and media do. Now, he's not attacking any of those individuals' character. He's not talking about them as people. He's not talking about them as human beings. He is just speaking from how he looks at the world. And there's a point of disagreement based upon how those individuals look at the world. And as a result, he is routinely called all of the things that you would imagine someone who talks like that gets called. He's anti-Black, anti-community. He's anti-Black community, anti-Black women. He's anti all of this stuff, right? So he is someone who, because he has a divested point of view, juxtaposed to the fact that he's Black, he's routinely given that same kind of treatment. And that's not something that is not happening. Stephen A. Smith definitely has a point. I remember during the last election cycle, I could not, like, my TV couldn't land on MSNBC for more than 10 seconds because it was just a cadre of one person after the next going pro-Democrat, pro-Black all day, every day. And and anybody who, gave a disagreeable a point of view that disagreed from that stance, it wasn't that those points of view that person was giving were valid. It was that you look like us, therefore you have a responsibility or an obligation to have the same opinion as us. So Stephen A. Smith is not wrong when he says the things that he says. He's also not wrong when he talks about the element of extremism in the media, which I would imagine has also seeped into the recesses of the journalism world, because that is also something that takes place. I remember, I don't know whether it was last year or the year before. I don't remember when exactly this happened, but I remember watching First Take. And this was back when Molly was still hosting First Take. And I think it may have been the Kareem Hunt stuff. I think. I need to fact check myself, but I think it may have been the Kareem Hunt stuff when he was going through all of his, domestic stuff. And, everybody was kind of speculating what the punishment was going to be. How severe should it be? Whether he should get suspended for a year or whatever the case may be. And here's Molly Qerim on national television saying that if the NFL doesn't ensure that the punishment against Kareem Hunt is severe enough, it would mean that they hate women. Like, she actually said that on national television.
Yeah, I remember that.
She said that if the NFL doesn't ensure, now mind you, this falls within the purview of the NFL's code of conduct and all of that kind of stuff. But if the Chiefs want to suspend Kareem Hunt for the year or whatever, they can do all of that kind of stuff before it even makes it to the league, right? But she was putting the onus on the league, saying if you don't ensure that the punishment against this guy for allegations isn't severe enough, it means that you hate women. That's a direct quote. That's what she said on national TV, that NFL, if you don't punish him severely enough, it means you hate women. Now, that struck me as a bit extreme. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're going to basically tie this league to being woman haters if they don't punish him to a level that is satisfactory enough for you. What if all women don't feel that way? What if all women don't feel the same way that you feel about this particular situation? What if some women feel as though a few game suspension and a fine is sufficient? Why is your desire for a sufficient penalty the rule of law? And why is it that all of a sudden you're speaking for all women? I found that to be a very disturbing thing for a person to say on national television.
Mhm.
But that kind of speech is apparently fair game nowadays across media, even though it's a form of extremism.
Mhm.
So this kind of stuff is happening replete throughout the media. And Stephen A. Smith, I think, makes a good point when he says, I can't even disagree with something that Jasmine Crockett said because that means now I'm being disparaging, when I'm not really assessing her character or who she is as a person. Her work, the work that she does, is a matter of public discourse.
Mhm.
She's a public figure. The work that she does is public facing. If I disagree with her points of view, I have a right to say that without it meaning that I am now all of a sudden disparaging Black women. But that's where these organizations and these elitists, as you like to call them, and I agree with that, they take it there. They
Mhm.
take it to these weird forms of extremism, and they think that their form of extremism is okay because they feel as though they're on the right side of history. So their extremism is fine and excusable because they're on the right side of it, so it's okay, when it's all just a bunch of extremism. So, you know, Stephen A. Smith, man, he has his fair share of uphill battles, and I do agree with you when it comes to the dog and pony show nature of the way that he likes to catalog what he does for the Black community. So I'm with you there. But when he speaks on this particular element of like speech in media and discourse, I don't think he's wrong. And if I'm going to be fair, and this is just my opinion because of the way that I see things, I think he is correct to feel offended by the fact that they chose him going at the work that these individuals do and some of the things that they've said as an opportunity to like leverage their pro-Black, pro-community position to call him disparaging. I think that was also an extreme measure and a bit too far.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Now, I didn't see what he said about Jasmine Crockett. I did see his takes on Kamala, Michelle Obama.
I think one of the things that he said, if my memory serves me, because I wasn't following along with the whole thing, but one of the things that he said that pissed people off was she and others in her position should try to be less inflammatory towards Trump and try to be more in a position of being cooperative to work to more equitable solutions, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's one of the things that he said. And people didn't like that because they took it as him saying she needs to just, you know, bend the knee towards Trump. And you know, that's going to obviously get people, that's obviously going to make a lot of people mad. And that's one of the things that he said, and that people didn't appreciate it when he said that. I don't know. There's probably other things he said, but I remember that being one of the things that got him all hot and bothered with, you know, the community.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that Stephen A., you know, he has this reputation that, and I think it's well deserved. I don't think that everybody is coming to the same conclusion because, you know, of something else. I think a lot of people have seen it and noticed his behaviors as somebody that placates and plays games and manipulates, and he says certain things that just rubs you the wrong way. He has a bass in his voice when he talks about Black people that he doesn't have when he talks about other communities. And this is what led people to theorize that ESPN hired him specifically to talk about certain athletes a way that a white person couldn't. And so he would sit there and he would call it, because, you know, and I had this conversation with you before, man. You can't say that a Black coach sucks if you're a white guy. You can't say that because you're being a bigoted and you're racist or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you hire Black people and then, you know, you know, and then they'll go out there and they'll say what the other people can't say, you know. Now, granted, there's a lot of Black people in the media that take it overboard. It's an extreme with Black people. It's rare to find somebody that's balanced, that's doing media and you know, out there that's a Black person doing media, because, you know, it's either Lamar Jackson's the greatest football player of all time. You know, SGA is better than Jokic. Man, like we're not doing this right now. We're not doing this right now. Embiid is better than Jokic. Like we're not doing that. I think Embiid should be MVP. Why? What kind of numbers is he putting up? Is he even playing? So it's that stuff. So they take it to the extreme over there, but then they also take it to the extreme of throwing, people under the bus when appropriate. To me, I see the black people take these extremes, and I also notice that white people more. And because back in the day, a black guy couldn't play linebacker because he wasn't smart enough, and these were legitimate takes on TV. A black guy can't play quarterback because he's not smart enough, and so this was actually talking points from white analysts. Over time, people are going to say, hey, man, you're being a racist, you're being a bigot, because he has an objective opinion. Now, he might not be throwing smart and all these inflammatory words, but he's saying things that's akin to, and it's, getting people all riled up. So then they found a way to leverage black journalists, if you will. And I feel like Stephen A does that very well. That's why they're paying him so much, because he can dance, and he got away with words, and he can talk himself around anything. He can talk himself out of anything, and that's why he's getting paid so much. So he's really good at what he does. So for him to get in this situation with these people, for calling him out on something, which I'm pretty sure he may not see it that way, but how critical is he of other people? If he's getting in this political space and he's claiming to be this person and talking all of this stuff, showing up on this network, showing up on that network, would just have the same level of criticism and stuff like that for other people. Because he's
done it. He doesn't not do it. It's just I think that there is a point to him saying that there is something going on where whatever measure of being balanced I attempt to succeed at is being undermined by this idea that anything that I say that's critical about the community is going to get flipped around on me and turn into a situation in which I'm being anti-community. Now, I'm not necessarily defending him, but I do think that is something that happens because he ain't the only person to whom it happens to. It's just, with him, see, here's his problem, in my opinion. This is his problem. He's not the only person who does this stuff. There's other black people in the media who do this, but they don't catch the same amount of flack. Like, look at Whitlock, for example. Whitlock is worse than Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, in terms of being a flamethrower towards other black people. Absolutely. Like, there's nobody giving Whitlock thumbs down. And my theory as to why that is because Whitlock doesn't try to be. Stephen A. Smith tries to do this thing, and I mentioned this before, where he tries to be corporate company man. Mm-hmm. And he's an unapologetic capitalist, but then he also tries to be for the community, and he tries to play both of those cards when convenient for him. So, I forget the other video that we did, but he has this way of being an unapologetic capitalist and talking about all of the moves that he's making. He's on all of these shows. He's making all of these deals. He's one of the highest paid people on ESPN. He's climbing the corporate ladder, right? And he does it unapologetically. When you're corporate personified to that level, the perception of you right or wrong is going to be something that is not in line with what is beneficial for the community. Because when has being corporate ever been what's beneficial for the community? Like, it's not. Like, that's you looking out for yourself. That's you being a capitalist, and that's you being an opportunist. Like, you're not doing what Maya Moore is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not actually doing things on the ground, on a ground floor level that is attempting to benefit the community. You're not doing anything. You're just taking your show to HBCUs, and you're taking your show once a year to the NABJ conference. But what does that do really in the grand scheme of things? Nothing. It just gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I did this, 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 and this. so that if anybody ever wants to refute how you feel or where you stand or how you do come in hard for the Black community, you can disagree with that by saying, look at all of these things I've done. You get to you essentially get to resume flex.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's falling for that, because everybody sees that really what you are is a capitalist and an opportunist. So that's his problem. His problem is that he's this corporate head honcho who wants to climb the ladder and be this mogul, essentially. And that is a diametrically opposed, counterintuitive notion to being pro-community and being all for helping out and uplifting the community. It just, those things just they conflict with one another. It doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. And so until he does a better job of reconciling that, he'll always welcome this criticism. It's always going to come. Because when I think people are saying, in my view, when people call him out for being anti-Black, or when he gets these kinds of distinctions, or when stuff like this happens, I believe that that's less so in response to, what he did, and it's more so in response to what he represents, which is this person who's trying to do what they do, which is be a company guy and be in those rooms where he gets to rub elbows and shake hands with all of the people that everybody else who's not in that room perceives to be not for them. And you can't have your cake and eat it too. I don't think you can do both. You either have to be 100% on board, helping out the community and making sacrifices, or you have to be a capitalist, but you can't do both. And that's what I think his problem is.
Yeah. And to speak on that, listen, you're not the best, you're not the top rapper in the game unless you're bending the knee and a corporate man. You're not the highest paid anything in entertainment unless you go to the parties and you're part of the good old boy club, or you think you're part of the good old boy club. You're a token. Stephen A. Smith is talented at what he does, but he's a rapper. He's not a self-made journalist. If people call what he do journalism, it's not. He's an entertainer. He's a rapper. And you don't make it all the way up there and get these big old advances like he gets unless you're an industry rapper. He's an industry rapper news guy for sports.
Yeah.
So, and now he's trying to parlay it over into politics. And that part that you go, the corporate guy, that's the part that people don't trust.
Right. Yeah.
How are you in these rooms shaking all these hands and doing all of this stuff? Everybody we know that's up there is on some weirdo timing. So the things that you do for the community, it does come off performative. The critiques that you have for us in our community, it feels like an attack. It feels like the people that you shake hands in a room with. It's just your face doing it. So that's why his stuff carries weight like that. Now, for this journalist association, I don't know what they do either. That's why I said this sounds like some type of whatever thing, man. I'm pretty sure there's some Divine Nine sorority hand clapping, Diddy party attending people themselves, and they just upset that, hey man, Stephen A left us hanging. We were building a name for ourselves, and Stephen A left us hanging, so we're gonna give him a thumbs down so we can get news, because nobody knows who the National Association of BJ is. What kind of name is that? Why would you name yourself that? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said this seems like their own little whatever type of situation, man. And so, but nah. So do I trust Stephen A? No, can't trust him as far as I can throw him because of all of those reasons. And it's for him to try to sit there and do all of that dancing and to sit here and act like he's for me, it's a joke. Everything he does to me, it seems performative and not authentic, So, but he's good at what he does. So he fools a lot of people. So, but me, I just don't go for it. So yeah, man. So he can have at it. But he's an entertainer. He's nowhere near a journalist. And your take on Whitlock, and I agree with your take on Whitlock, but Whitlock is so beneath everybody, man.
It doesn't know, but the point is, though, Whitlock if Whitlock were trying to climb a corporate ladder, I think it was the situation. Whitlock is but even though Whitlock is a gas bag and he's worse than Stephen A. Smith, he is also somebody who is proudly anti-establishment. So I think when you're anti-establishment, you get to kind of fly under the radar when it comes to being infamously known as anti-Black or anti-community. Like, even if people look at Whitlock that way, because he's anti-establishment, it's almost as if it's a wash. Like, he might not be for us, but he's also anti-establishment. So it's almost like a break-even type scenario. Whereas with Stephen A. Smith, he's very much pro-establishment, but he also wants to be pro-community. You can't, good luck striking that back. I've not seen it done. Like, I'm old enough. I've seen it attempted. Thus far, I have not seen it done. I have not seen the corporate rubbing elbows and shaking hands in those rooms and being in those parties and signing those contracts. I have not seen somebody up there at that level who's also like pro-community. I've not seen it done. I've not seen that balance get struck. Maybe it'll happen at some point in the future, but thus far, throughout the course of human history, it has not happened. And Stephen A. Smith, I can assure you, is not going to be the first person to do it. He's not going to be the first person to pull it off. So I think that's what his problem is. I think when people go at him about disparaging, because he didn't say anything like the stuff that he said about Crockett or Michelle Obama. If I'm being perfectly honest, and this is me as another person who also considers himself to be freed from the Democratic plantation, the stuff that he said about them isn't too far off from things I'd say about them. And I consider myself to be very much pro-Black. So I don't think that's what people are responding to. I think people are responding to his opportunistic, self-aggrandizing nature. I think people, it rubs people the wrong way. And no one is ever going to buy that you're on the ground floor level caping for the community when you're also trying to get all of these Disney checks and do all of this stuff and partner with all of these news outlets and just be this corporate head honcho. It's just, you just can't do it. It just doesn't make sense. You either are or you aren't.
Yeah, fair enough, man. But yeah, so I don't think I can shout out anybody here. So shout out to the viewer, man. But yeah, the National Association of BJ needs to change their name. That's a wild name, bro. That's a wild name.
Oh boy. So now we're going to visit Kayla Nicole, who at this point is certainly a friend of the channel. So not too long ago, she made comments basically saying Black men need to do more for Black women. They need to stand up more for Black women. They need to do a better job of protecting Black women. Black men need to do a better job of being there for Black women. Now, since Kayla Nicole made these remarks, now, by the way, these remarks were made during a red carpet interview before the BET Awards, I believe. Someone asked her this question and she answered it and all of this kind of stuff, right? So since she said that, there's been some criticism levied her way, primarily because of her past dating history. A lot of people are saying, how is it that you are going to have these critiques for Black men when you dated Travis Kelce, you dated white men? So that inherently means that you're disqualified from having such opinions, which obviously gets parlayed into people trying to put her Blackness into question, I suppose. So now Kayla Nicole is unmuting and basically saying, I don't care who I've dated. I don't care what my past is. I am a Black woman. I was born a Black woman. You can't strip my voice away from me. I'm going to say what I want to say. My thoughts and views are still valid. And if you don't like it, you can kick rocks. That's the essence of what she said. There are some other things that she said that we'll get into, but she's basically flaming anybody who's calling her Blackness into question. So this says, Kayla Nicole claps back at critics. My Blackness is never up for debate. Kayla Nicole has spent years having strangers on the internet debate everything from her dating history to her motives. But there's one subject she's officially taking off the table: her identity as a Black woman. On the latest episode of the Pregame with Kayla Nicole, the sports broadcaster and media personality revisited the backlash she received after an appearance at BET Media House, where she was asked what Black men could do to better support Black women. Her answer that Black men could do a better job of protecting Black women drew plenty of criticism online. Nicole came back with a much longer response. My blackness is never up for debate or discussion. I don't care who I've dated, purple, blue, white, orange, or green. I'm black, and I'm a black woman at that. So me advocating for black women should never be an issue ever. Nicole's reference to whom she has dated carries some obvious history. She was in an on-again, off-again relationship with Travis Kelce from 2017 until their final split in 2022. Kelce began dating Taylor Swift the following year, and Nicole has repeatedly been dragged into conversations about the couple ever since, including after Kelce and Swift married at Madison Square Garden on July 3rd. But Nicole made clear that her dating history doesn't disqualify her from speaking about issues affecting Black women. She pointed to disparities in maternal mortality, pay, healthcare, and the workplace before doubling down. At the end of the day, I'm a Black woman. My skin is Black. I was born Black. I'm going to die Black, and I'm going to continue to advocate for Black women. She added that saying Black women deserve protection should not enrage you. In fact, it should mobilize you. And then came the punctuation mark. Y'all can kiss my ass, kiss my Black ass. She later added, I don't feel like advocating for Black women means that I am attacking Black men. That is unfair. It's hardly the first time Nicole's comments have generated headlines beyond their original context. Since her breakup with Kelce, everything from her dating advice to social media posts have been examined for possible references to her ex. After Kelce married Swift, Nicole resurfaced publicly in Los Angeles without commenting on the wedding. Days later, when discussing relationships elsewhere, she said, I don't know if I believe in a perfect love story. I'm grown now. Love is hard. Love is a choice every day, choosing the same person. Her latest pregame episode also found Nicole pushing a broader message about choosing herself. Responding to a caller frustrated with dating, she declared that the men are the problem, encouraged women to decenter men this summer, and rejected the obsession with being picked by someone else. We are the prize in this, Nicole said.
Oh God.
Exactly. I waited until the very end because that's the part that enraged me.
Oh my goodness.
We are also the ones that are capable of doing the choosing. Her bottom line was even simpler. I'm so sick of us caring about being chosen by a man. Chosen by a man, please. Chosen by a man, I don't care anymore. I choose me, babe. So there's that. All right. So there's that. Now we do have a clip courtesy of Dogon SS from her show. Now, in this clip, she doesn't get into the whole we are the prize and decenter from men and what else did she say? Men are the problem. She doesn't get into that, but she does say everything else. So we'll go ahead and play this for context. But I'm prefacing everybody now. That's not going to be my focus. So here is her saying all the other stuff. Wait, hold on. I got to unmute it. All right. So here's her saying all the other stuff.
Black ass. I did a quick hit with For the Fellas. But the interviewer asked me, what can Black men do in relation to better serve Black women? I think that Black men can do a better job of protecting Black women. And the way that y'all tried to eat me up in the comment. So let me look at the camera real quick when I say this. My Blackness is never up for debate or discussion. I don't care who I've dated. Purple, blue, white, orange, or green. I'm Black, and I'm a Black woman at that. So me advocating for Black women should never be an issue. Black women continue to be the face of the greatest disparities in our society. When it comes to healthcare, we have one of the highest maternal mortality rates in America. Black women are more than 3 times as likely to die from pregnancy-related causes as white women. We face significant pay inequities. Black women earn substantially less than white men, and even when education is accounted for. Healthcare, workplace, politics, daily interactions. I'm a Black woman. My skin is Black. I was born Black. I'm gonna die Black. I'm gonna continue to advocate for Black women. That should never be a problem. Me saying that we deserve protection, when statistically we absolutely do, should not enrage you. In fact, it should mobilize you, because that's what Black women do. So tell me to be quiet because I done stuck my toe in the water. It's crazy. Y'all can kiss my ass. You might have to edit that part out. But kiss my Black ass. Okay?
We're gonna get that.
Keep it in there.
All right, there you go. All right. So Man, oh man.
Man, Jesus.
Man, oh man. Friend of the channel. Go ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
Oh, brother. Where do I begin, man? Oh, man. And you know, the crazy part about it is, you know, she felt like she was crushing that. Like she was making solid points in this debate. Wow. And then all of those buzzwords at the end of men are the problem, trying to be picked, we're the prize. Or what?
Decenter.
Oh my goodness, man. I mean, it was just buzzword after buzzword, man. Like, wow. Very NPC like. Very NPC type of responses from this Nicole young lady. Look, man, and I think I made this point last time when she brought this up, but you know, because I get galaxy brain about all of that protection stuff, and I really think it's just about power in the world. And you know, whenever they're saying that, they're basically saying that they want you to have more power in the world, and you don't have none. And what is a man without power? Fair question. You know, but the thing is, man, like if you can articulate that, if you can sit back and just say that protect us because X, Y, or Z. First of all of that stuff that she ran off is not directly because a black man is doing that to you. It's actively doing that to you. You know, a black man is not paying you because of your education. That's not what we're doing. You know, a black guy's he's not in the hospital with the mortality rates. The black guy's like, so how would you like for us to protect you? So at that point, now I know what she means. You got to be empowered to change that, but she's not saying that. And to neglect that part of the conversation makes it a whole nother conversation. It makes it seem like we're absentee just in general, or if we're actually the causes, like the active causes, direct causes to them not getting paid as much, to them not getting this or being this or whatever that, you know. So if they understand that this is a whole global situation that everybody's in, and it's not necessarily male centered, you know, she might come up off that statement, but to me it seems narrow-minded. It's not, to me, well thought out. It seems like she just heard a whole bunch of feminist buzzwords, a whole bunch of closeted lesbian words, you know, like male centered and we're the prize. And you know, only thing she didn't do is snap her fingers and say, I don't need no man, you know. But
she basically did without saying it directly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all of this closeted lesbian. And another thing, man, all of this stuff about down low men, yeah, man, that stuff's crazy, bro. But this whole stuff where this is lesbian conversations, whereas it's just like, hey, I don't like men. And but you're parading around and you're gonna date a man, but you're gonna decenter him while you're dating him. Like, how does all of that stuff work? So you really hate men, you know? So it's a weird dynamic that this young lady is just spewing out all of this toxic waste. And to me, I think it's completely misguided. I feel as though she's just saying stuff that sounds good, but isn't well thought out. And her frustrations isn't necessarily with black men. You know, it's honestly with this rigged game that we're all playing. But she's been trained to direct that energy towards black males, as if me, you know, I'm the direct cause of black women getting, you know, not enough money at their jobs or being mistreated at the hospitals. You know, it's bogus, man. It's not my fault. But what are your thoughts, man? Because I got more on the back end of this Kayla Nicole doubling down and telling all of the haters and naysayers, to kiss her arse. What are your thoughts, man?
First of all of that stuff that she was doing, talking about the mortality rates, the birth rates, the pay gaps, and all of that other stuff that she was talking about. Fine, all of that stuff is true. No one's refuting it. And at what black man is not like, she makes the comments as if to suggest black men don't agree with them or otherwise don't care or aren't compassionate towards the plight of black women. Again, this is a straw man. No one disagrees with any of that.
Exactly.
I don't know a single black man who would disagree with any of that. And I don't know a single black man who wouldn't say that needs to improve, that needs to change. So this notion of black men needing to stand up more or protect black women more with respect to the specific talking points that she brought up, to me is a straw man argument, because I don't know a single black man who has an issue with any of that stuff. What black man is walking around saying we don't need to do something about the infant mortality rates or the mortality birth rates or the pay scales and all that? What black man is saying I don't want to do anything about that? No one's saying that. So she's screaming into the wind, directing her ire towards a voiceless, shapeless entity that doesn't exist, because no one's refuting any of this stuff. And that was one of the points that I made when she was saying that before. I'm not seeing that happening. Like, the stuff that she's saying sounds good, but when all the people I know, all of the coworkers I have, all of the family members that I have, all the friends that I have, all the associates that I run, all of the acquaintances that I run into, all of the people who I know who I've associated with, there's not a single person walking around who's sitting there saying, I disagree with any of that or I'm not for that. So where is she getting this idea from that there needs to be this vast improvement on the protection afforded towards black women when it comes to those specific talking points? To me, it's a straw man. It's a straw man. It doesn't even exist. In mass, that's not happening.
Correct.
But this is what lack of accountability looks like. In a nutshell, this is the face. She is the face of a lack of accountability. She, in my opinion, is attempting to reconcile all of the various aspects of her personal life that she is dissatisfied with by projecting out into the rest of the world, saying it's these things that are causing me to have these personal problems. So your single, unmarried, childless status is due to black men who don't care enough about the birth mortality rates of black women. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that that's a you problem. It has always been it has always been a you problem, and it will continue to be a you problem. I'm so tired of this lack of accountability from these people. Like, it's ridiculous. You know, look, it's easy for a woman in her position to say we need to decenter from men. We are the prize. And men are the problem, because no man wants you. That's why you're talking like that. No one wants you.
Who would want to, honestly, and I don't mean to cut you off, but who in their right mind would actually want to have a conversation with somebody that talks like this?
Precisely. Yeah, precisely. There is a direct correlation between her disposition and the fact that she's telling other people decenter from men. No, your position is to decenter from men because no man wants you.
Exactly.
And life is black and white. This stuff is very simple, man. If you were really the prize that you claim to be, you'd be married by now.
Exactly.
Travis Kelce would have married you.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have left you to marry Taylor Swift. Now, I'm pretty sure she'll say, well, she's this and she's that, and he couldn't handle me and all of this other stuff, because that's what these people do. They rationalize everything under the sun. But at the end of the day, if you were worthy of these things, you would be claimed, you would be picked, you would be married. And in the face of not being that, you get to conveniently reconcile all that pull off your best Joy Taylor impression by saying, no, it's not really me, it's everybody else. I'm choosing this life for myself because it's how I want to be.
Right.
When really she's crying inside, in all likelihood.
Crying out loud, honestly.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
it's like this lack of accountability. And again, I'm not trying to be anti-woman necessarily, but I notice lack of accountability from women more than men. Men do it too, but men perhaps do it in the biggest way because we opt to not hold ourselves accountable for managing family and household. That's the biggest sin that we commit, and it's the biggest sin to commit. So it's perhaps the biggest blind spot for us. Granted, I'll give you that. But in terms of the amount of opportunities for a lack of accountability to be displayed, I see that more often than not with women than men, in my opinion, in terms of sheer volume, in terms of the amount of instances in which I can engage in a lack of accountability. Women do it the most. Mm-hmm. Never looking inward and saying, what am I doing to be someone who feels the need to decenter from men? Because you're a part of that equation. It's not just men.
Right.
It should tell everybody all they need to know about her, the fact that she can actually vocalize the sentence, men are the problem.
Which is insane.
Which is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. You know what I mean? It's like, no, what you need to understand is that it's not men who are the problem. It's the men you choose to give your energy to who are the problem.
Exactly.
Which in a roundabout way means you're the problem because you need to figure out why you're giving your energy in that direction. But they'll never look at things that way. They never will. It's always what the rest of the world is doing. It's always everybody else's fault. And the last thing that I'll say before I kick it back to you, bro, I think you give her too much credit. I really don't think she's saying y'all need to have more power. I really do think she's just parroting modern feminist, modern pro-woman speech, which is everything that's wrong with the world is because of the men, and we are the victims perpetually. And that's it. That's as far as she's thinking about it. I don't think she's thinking about it on any more of a granular level than that. So I wouldn't even give her that much credit, even though I think you're right. I think your point in totality is correct, but I'm not giving her credit for thinking that way.
No. So she's not consciously thinking that. I think all of it is innate in all women. I think everything, you play music for a baby and they start dancing. They don't know why they're dancing. And a woman doesn't understand or could figure out personally or even articulate in certain cases of why a man needs to have power. So they'll just say that, black men need to protect, She don't even know why she's saying that. I would say that's a buzzword that she's clearly buzzword central. I mean, if you want Urban Dictionary for buzzwords or something like that, and feminist rhetoric, she's got all the words. All right. I think that part innately in women that where it fires off at like, yeah, need that. Like we need black men to stand up. We need black men to do this. I don't even want black men to run the world. And they want to benefit from that. So in protection for them, at least so they think. But my point here is you're not going to get that power. You're not going to get that power by sharting on us. This is a team effort. This is a team effort. We need women to do their job. Men can't just do their job by themselves because you know what's going to end up happening. They're going to acquire the power and not marry your behind. And ain't no recessive genes over here. The kid's going to turn out black anyway. So just off and help us out. I'm not here to point fingers. I think everybody needs to understand, because if you look across the planet of black and brown people, we are not in good positions. When the world is having their issues, it ain't nothing, nobody up there that look like us. Everybody that's talking about nuclear this, AI that, they don't look like us. But everybody that's doing the mining, everybody that's getting blown up, they look like us. So the power dynamics, the people out there that's actually playing Risk don't look like us. And every one of us know that, either overtly or subconsciously. And so when she looks at, when they plainly can look at birth rates, because this is a reality for women of, hey, if I get pregnant, the birth rates of Black women is like this. It is. And personally, I don't think that's coincidental. I don't think that's by happenstance. I think that's what happens when you don't run the medical field. So you need to be in some control. Black people don't talk like this. We don't talk about control. We don't talk about power. We don't talk about what that leads to and what it looks like if we actually had it. There's always this victim thing, doing this to who's doing what to you? And why aren't you stepping in to do something so you don't have that infant mortality rate no more? Because you're not the ones that's writing the academic books. You're not the one that's publishing it. You're not the one that's running the schools. So anybody that's doing that, and for hundreds of years at this point, and the rates ain't getting no better, that's by design. So put yourself in position to fix that. That's not going to happen just by Black men doing it. And that's not going to happen Black men just trying to do something and people throwing stones at them. So this needs to be a joint effort. So all of this stuff of me and male centered, no, and I agree with you. No, she's the problem. Anybody that thinks it's the other person's problem, it's their problem. That's how we've been conditioned. So it's not just feminists, it's all kinds of dangerous rhetoric that has been taught to our people since we've been educated in a system that's not for us. So I don't mean to get like this, but this is where the conversation has to go. Because if it's pie in the sky and beating around the bush, people ain't really going to get to the actual solution. This woman is out of her mind because everybody beat around the bush or don't even know the bush is there. So the stuff that I'm saying right now is how the problem gets fixed. It is a power dynamic, and everybody knows it, consciously or subconsciously. I ain't gonna say everybody. A lot of people are scared, and a lot of people ain't gonna do nothing about it. Get their Starbucks, go watch their football. I ain't talking about me, and just hang out because ain't nobody actually gonna do something about it. So yeah, man, it's a power dynamic and it's a power game. So all of this stuff that's happening to Black women and men, look at the incarceration rates. Look at this, look at that, look at that. And there's the same thing going on for Black men as it is going on for Black women. And that's not by coincidence. So that needs to by us not fighting one another and understanding what the hell's actually going on and put ourselves in actual positions. But yeah, I'll get off my soapbox, man. But this is to me, this isn't just male-female dynamics. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. This is a man versus female. Man, it's bigger than that. And it's about the global game of power that's going on. And we're at the bottom, picking up the stuff to make everybody else powerful. So until we change that, we're going to continue to bicker and fight amongst one another. So yeah, man, it is what it is.
Yeah, the difference is, Black men aren't blaming the incarceration rates on Black women. Like, no, Black men aren't saying I'd be incarcerated less if Black women stood up for me more. That's not.
If they said that, they wouldn't be lying.
That's fine, but the problem is the central core of the issue for me is Black men are put. Men in general, but since this is more of a racially oriented conversation, Black men are often more responsible for maintaining accountability for where they stand, whereas women essentially get to run the victim Olympics and blame everybody else. The incarceration rates or the various other societal things that plague Black men don't blame Black women for those things. Whereas this woman here, at least, I won't speak for all women, but this woman is basically saying if Black men did more to help us, as if to suggest Black men either don't care or are otherwise apathetic, we'd be in a better spot. That could be true, but your lack of accountability is striking to me. And that's where I take primary issue with it. So, you know, hopefully, I hope she figures this stuff out, because she's basically on the road to nowhere, and she is basically on the road to just dying alone with a dog. And I'm sure when that day does come, she'll probably blame men for that too. But I assure you, you are the source of all your problems. If only you were to take inventory of the decisions that you've made and adjust those decisions accordingly. But I don't think she'll learn the capacity to do that, because she's been trained to believe that everything that happens to her is the rest of the world's fault, and that there's nothing she can do about it. And that's the biggest problem that she's going to face for the rest of her life.
And I'll say that slaves will be slaves so long as they are willing to be slaves. It's kind of like what Kanye said, man, that slavery is a choice. And right now, this current slavery that everybody's living in, that nobody's happy with, they're choosing to do it every day. So until you choose to not be in this position, you know, the complaints will fly. And it's easy to point the finger at whoever else, you know, next gender, same gender. It doesn't matter. You chose to be a slave. And so some people don't even know they're slaves, which is this young lady's situation. So she will throw stones and blame men for her situation. So yeah, man, it is what it is, man. But yeah, that's why people like her, actually have a platform. You know, that's why people like Stephen A have a platform. It's because Stephen A don't talk like this, and he knows this. But the people that have platforms, the people that's actually out there, you know, they perpetuate the madness. So she will have more dangerous rhetoric to come. I mean, I've never heard so many buzzwords in a row, but she got that accomplished. So, hey, man, it is what it is, man. But slavery's a choice.
I couldn't be on a show with her, because see, if that was me and she was saying all of that, I would have came back at her and I would have been like, "Why are you the prize?" And I'd love to hear what her response to that question would be. Why are you the prize? Explain to me, articulate to me why you believe you are the prize. Please, I want to hear what you have to say about
She's
that.
strong and independent, man. She got her own money. She don't need you. That's why she's the prize.
These people need to really understand what accountability is. It's a disease. Lack of accountability is a disease. It's a sickness.
Yep. Agreed, man.
We move on to Shaq, who doesn't miss playing in the NBA. Shaq was on a show with what's this guy's name? I think his name Rich Kleiman. Yeah, who I think he's like Kevin Durant's agent or business manager or something. He has some kind of relationship with Kevin Durant, this Rich Kleiman guy. But Shaq was on, I believe this is Rich Kleiman's show, Boardroom. I believe that show was founded by Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman in tandem. And Shaq was on there, and Rich Kleiman asked Shaq about his playing days and whether he misses it. And Shaq basically said, "No, I don't miss it. I don't miss playing because I wouldn't want to play with these cupcakes today." So speaking generally, Shaq doesn't have very kind, fond words for today's NBA or today's NBA player. This says Shaq says he doesn't miss playing in NBA, calls modern players cupcakes. Shaquille O'Neal doesn't miss playing in the NBA, and his opinion of today's competition is one of the reasons why. During a conversation with Rich Kleiman for Boardroom, Shaq was asked whether he ever finds himself wishing he can go back on the court. The four-time NBA champion didn't hesitate. "No, never, never, not against these cupcakes." When Kleiman suggested that was a fitting way to end their conversation, Shaq made sure his assessment of the modern NBA couldn't be misunderstood. "They're all cupcakes. Write it down, tweet it, Instagram it, and Facebook, and I said it." The exchange kept a wide-ranging boardroom cover story conversation featuring O'Neal, Kleiman, and Authentic Brands Group founder and executive chairman Jamie Salter. While Shaq doesn't necessarily miss playing, he admitted in a 2022 interview that there is one thing about today's NBA that makes him wish his prime had arrived a few decades later. "I'll be making $600 million. These bums are making $600 million for 2 years. I wish I was playing now." Shaq said his combination of size, strength, and physicality would make him an even bigger problem against the current generation, which he called cupcakes then too. Playing against these little cupcakes, I wish I was playing now, I swear. O'Neal entered the NBA in 1992 and spent much of his career battling an era loaded with stars, including Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and Karl Malone. The game has changed dramatically since then, with spacing, perimeter shooting, and versatility becoming increasingly important. Shaq said those changes would work in his favor. O'Neal has said in the past that his approach would be to remain centered around attacking the paint and forcing smaller defenses to deal with him inside. So that's that. So here is Shaq telling Mr. Rich Kleiman how much he doesn't miss playing in the NBA because today's NBA player or the modern NBA is cupcakes. All right. So here's Mr. O'Neal dispensing his wisdom.
You miss playing basketball still ever?
Not against these cupcakes. They're all cupcakes. Write it down, tweet it, Instagram it, Facebook it. I said it.
Has all of this side of your life, business, filled a little bit of the space of what it was like to be an athlete at the highest level? Or is that something that was never able to be replaced once you retired?
I'm having more fun. I'm learning more. I'm doing it with the greatest shooter in the world. He would be my Jerry West or my Larry Bird in business for me. And all we do is win championships.
John Stockton.
No, John Stockton hasn't won a championship. No disrespect to John.
Good point. I didn't know he was on championship. I meant more size, frame.
No.
And you miss playing basketball still ever?
No, never.
Never?
Not against these cupcakes. They're all cupcakes. Write it down, tweet it, Instagram it, Facebook it. I said it.
All right, there you go. So what do you make of Shaq's assessment about the modern NBA and these cupcakes and how he doesn't miss playing?
I mean, of course, it's going to be looked at as the old head, reminiscing about the good old days. Really thinks he can hang with Joel Embiid. Whatever.
Who never actually plays basketball.
Yeah, whatever these young people think of these guys. Now, granted, is the appearance of athleticism, seem more fluent and all of these things. Yeah, man, the game changes, man. So, guys look more fluent doing things. Things did look a little bit more ragged, more jagged, rough around the edge in the 90s. All right. And then each passing generation, things get a little bit more fluent. And so these guys are confusing the fluency with actual game IQ, competency, toughness, will to win, things that were intangible that you can't see watching a highlight tape per se, but they get caught up in the aesthetics of the fluency of the game, the fluency of the dribble, even though they're carrying nowadays, the fluency of the dunking, but guys jumped high back then. Guys ran fast back then. It's just that they were dribbling with their head looking down sometimes. It was a different type of game looking aesthetically. But I'm telling you right now, man, if you drop Shaq, I don't care that today's basketball got, stretch fives and, got wing defenders or whatever, 3-and-D people. I don't give a damn about that. If you drop Shaq in today's basketball, he's dominant. Nobody's stopping him. Shaq was a problem, especially once he actually had some game about him. Like young Shaq was, he was a problem, but he didn't know how much of a problem he could be. But in those Lakers runs, man, he was literally unstoppable outside of the free throw shooting.
I hated him. I hated it.
I mean, which honestly, what an Achilles heel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, literally like the Greek god. You know what I'm saying? Because you could not stop him. I would get mad sometimes, like, come on, man, whatever. But he was 300 pounds, bro. I mean, backing people down. They were flying. You could not stop him. So, no, man, you couldn't stop him in one of the toughest eras. You think you're going to stop him now? You know what I'm saying? These guys are cupcakes. So no lies detected here. And even though he don't shoot threes and he's horrible at free throws, he'll still drop 30 in today's basketball. You can't stop what he did. So nah, man, I agree with Shaq, man. But of course, the young people out there are gonna, they're gonna say Jokic is gonna, put him in the blender, bruh. Like, give me a break, okay? Jokic can hoop, man, but it's a different type of animal, man. Tell Jokic to guard Shaq. He can't do that. He would not be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? He would be fouling out by the third quarter. So
Jokic struggled with Embiid. What you think he gonna do with Shaq?
Come on, man. So like it's not even fair what Shaq would be able to do, which again is a travesty that there's been so many guys out there and that just refuse to hit the weight room and body people. And what's going on right now with Wemby, bro? Like it should be a crime. Why is he pulling up from 35 feet? Can he? Yeah. I'm not telling him to not do that, but why is that the only thing he's doing? Yikes, man. But what are your thoughts, man, on Shaquille O'Neal saying that, hey, man, he wouldn't even bother playing with today's modern cupcakes? Do you agree with him? What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I agree with him too. I don't care what kids say. They don't know anything. They haven't been alive long enough. So their opinion, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't even count. I know that sports leagues and corporate America, the desired demographic is the young people, but they still don't know anything. They haven't been alive long enough, so their opinion on stuff shouldn't count. Mm-hmm. I want to be a fan of SGA, but he flops on purpose.
It's disgusting, dog.
It ruins the spirit of competition for me. That to me is not competitiveness. That's just gimmick. I can't respect basketball players who leverage gimmicks in order to be effective. Now, do the referees call it and reward them for the gimmicks? Yes, and that's a whole separate conversation. But internally, as a basketball player who prides themselves on getting the better of your competition and being recognized as the best that you can be, it should be beneath you to resort to gimmicks to be effective. Yet it isn't beneath these players to resort to gimmicks to be effective. So as much as I want to root for SGA and watch him and say, man, this guy's so skilled, he's such a great player, I can't because he's gimmicky.
Right.
He falls on purpose. He initiates contact and then acts like he's, getting his ankle stepped on. I can't stand the way that he plays. It's a gimmick to me, and I can't respect it. James Harden, which, many people might consider him a predecessor to SGA. Some would say that James Harden begat the SGA. Yes. James Harden was doing SGA stuff before SGA came along. The driving into the lane, clearly not even intending to make the layup. You're just trying to throw your body into contact. You're just trying to throw your body into the defender to create contact so that you can get to the free throw line. You're taking double-digit free throws every game. You're doing your step back, kicking your leg out to fall on players' feet so that you can get the 3 free throws because the referees are going to blow the whistle. You can't convince me that defenders today are just at a much higher clip landing beneath the shooter's feet. I don't buy that. Mm-hmm. Guys have been shooting threes for decades. Why all of a sudden are all of the shooters falling on people's feet? Like, what are we doing? Like, defenders aren't doing anything much different than what they used to, which is jumping up to contest the shot. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, there are going to be some players here or there who lean forward a bit too much, and so the shooter lands on their foot. But for the most part, they're just doing regular basketball motions defensively. Yet all of these shooters are just landing on these guys' feet to go to the three-point line. I don't buy it. They're being trained on doing that so that they can get 3 free throws. It's a gimmick. I can't respect it. I want to root for Luka. He bitches to referees too much. He flops too much. He doesn't play defense, and his usage rate is out of control. I can't respect a guy who averages 35 a game when he has the ball in his hands 95% of every shot clock in every game. So I think what Shaq's getting at here, and I am inclined to agree with him, And I understand that I may be, to a certain extent, putting words in his mouth. But today's NBA player is gimmicky far more than players in the past were. Kobe averaged 35 a game in the 2005, 2006 season. And he wasn't averaging nearly as many free throws per game as SGA averages today. He was just playing and just actually getting buckets. He wasn't resorting to gimmicks. When Iverson was doing what he was doing, averaging 30 a game, yeah, he wasn't the most efficient player in the world, but he also wasn't resorting to gimmicks to be effective. Today's NBA player is either crying to referees or resorting to gimmicks. And that, to me, does take the spirit out of competition. It lessens the intensity of competitive play. Because when all else fails, when your game or your skills or the strategy of the coaching staff isn't enough to get the better of your competition, just be a gimmick. And I can't respect it. So I hear where Shaq is coming from. If less of these players that are considered to be so much better because they have all of these ball skills and can dribble, pass, and shoot all of these threes, if they were less gimmicky, I think you'd have less players from previous generations criticizing them. But I think what a lot of previous players are doing is pointing to the fact that a lot of these players are gimmicks, and they're being given the leeway to get away with it because the league is creating dumb rules to facilitate it, and the referees are rewarding the gimmicky behavior by blowing the whistle. I couldn't be a referee today. Half the charges that these refs be calling, they be either blocks or no calls. I'm not calling all of these offensive fouls. They're not charges. You're not going to pump fake and then I naturally jump straight up to contest a jump shot, and then you jump into me and I'm going to reward you with free throws. I couldn't be a referee today. I couldn't do it.
No.
And players in previous eras were effective without having to resort to the gimmicks. So from that standpoint, I agree with Shaq because I correlate gimmicky play to a lack of competition and a lack of competitive spirit. And I do believe that that is a cupcake way to play basketball.
And I think it's cupcake rules. And like you were saying, man, I think it's cupcake officiating, cupcake rules, and it's creating soft players. And it's a soft league with soft dudes, man. They're not playing for real. It's lame. It's liberal basketball.
Yes, very good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's watching the NBA game is like, what is the definition of a woman? It's that kind of basketball. Because you look at it and say, what's the definition of a foul? What? What's the definition of a travel? Hey, what am I watching right now? James Harden just took 4 steps back. Oh, that was a gather. A gather? The hell are we talking about here? They changing the rules, changing words, adding words. You know, so it's man, it's men going into women's bathrooms.
Gather.
Yeah, gather. Like, what are you talking about, man? That's a travel, man. If I was a ref, I'm calling all that stuff. I'm not calling particular fouls, and I'm calling all of these travels. You can say whatever you want. It was a gather. It was a this. It was like, nah, man. You took more than 2 steps. I'm calling it travel, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, the stuff that I'll see, it's a steal, the ball's out running, the guy pick it up, take 3 steps. Back in our day, that was a travel.
It still is. It should still be, yeah.
They let him finish because it's going to be a dunk and it's going to be a highlight, but it was a travel. So I'm stopping that. But now that's not good for ratings, they think. See, and this is another thing. They think all of this stuff is good for ratings. It's actually not. People have stopped watching since there's so much scoring. What are they doing? So, yeah, man, it's liberal basketball. It's literally participation trophy basketball. You got an in-season tournament. You're giving away a trophy and a banner. Probably rings too. Y'all popping champagne in the middle of the season.
Well, they have to invent all of those machinations because, to your point, people check out until the playoffs.
Whose fault is that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's participation trophy sports. So teams are popping champagne in the locker room in the middle of the season because they're not really going to win a real championship, but at least they had the experience. What? So now you want to know why these players are soft? Now you want to know why these players are baiting the referees and the referees actually giving it to them? It's disgusting, bro. I can't watch that trash. So nah, you know what I'm saying? I miss basketball too. But I wouldn't want to play with these guys either because it ain't basketball. I don't know what that stuff is. So, hey, man, I'm with Shaq, man. And these young people, I know this is the only thing they've seen. So they get enamored again by the dribbling and the dunking and the fluency. And they look back at the highlights and it's a little rough. I get that. But it was a better game. I guess you just had to be there. But yeah, man, this modern stuff here, man, it ain't it, bro. Sorry.
I don't even think they're enamored with the dunks anymore. I think the dunks have been replaced by step backs and side steps and pull up jump shots. I don't even think the dunking captivates the public anymore. I agree. When you say whose fault is that, that's my point. I think the NBA through its various machinations is most responsible for having to come up with all of these weird things to keep the public engaged. Like stop permitting players to sit out games when they're healthy on the count of rest. Like, I'm not buying this. There has been no data that has been presented which says sitting out games eliminates the chance of injury. The only thing that sitting out games does in terms of eliminating the chance for injury is literally you can't be injured because you're not playing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. But in terms of the idea that if I sit out this many games, my body is going to be less likely to break down while I'm playing, there's no evidence of that being the case. There's no science to back that up. None. There's no research. There's no data which suggests that load management at healthy scratch of players, not players who have injuries or are trying to manage pain or things like that. Healthy scratches, like DNP rests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no evidence which says doing that eliminates the chance of injury. Yet people check out because players are sitting out games. And when people check out, it drives the interest of the league down. And now you're trying to figure out how can we maintain interest? Oh, let's create an in-season tournament. How about you make it to where players shouldn't be sitting out games if they're healthy?
Exactly.
Like the regular season used to mean something. I'm alive long enough to remember no one in the media would ever fix their face to say the NBA doesn't start until Christmas. Now that's a thing people say.
Mm-hmm.
And the masses believe it. Like people believe it because the media says it. And so now people believe I don't even really need to start watching games until Christmas time. Why? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? And it gets even worse when people say, well, everybody checks out. No one really should watch the NBA until the playoffs. Why? 82 games and y'all don't think people should be watching until that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem when there's people who have national platforms parroting the speech that this is something that shouldn't be paid attention to until the playoffs start. You know where I don't hear that? Hockey. You know how many regular season games are hockey? You know how many regular season games are in the National Hockey League? 82, the same amount as the NBA. Do you ever hear somebody saying nobody pays attention to hockey until the playoffs? Nobody says that. No one says that. This is a cultural issue with the NBA. It has nothing to do with the amount. That's why I don't buy the idea of shortening the regular season. I don't buy it. It's a cultural problem with them. National Hockey League has 82 regular season games. Those arenas fill out, and those players are there playing every game. No one's talking about when you should and should not tune in to watch hockey. It's all hands on deck from the time the season starts until the time somebody wins the Stanley Cup, because culturally the NHL is ran differently.
Mm-hmm.
So miss me with all of this other stuff with the NBA. I don't want to hear about too many games. I don't want to hear about none of that. It's a cultural problem. And it starts at the top with the way that the league is run, and it matriculates on down to the way it's officiated, the attitude of the players, the sitting out of the games, and the approaches to all this kind of stuff that the organizations take on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not buying it. It's a cupcake league, let alone cupcake players. And it hurts me to say that because I grew up loving this game, and I want it to be the best possible version of itself. But there are way too many people making excuses for it. It's too pro play. There's just so many problems with the NBA, far more than I can get into here. It's too pro player. There's too much apologizing for players doing dumb stuff, blaming owners, blaming GMs, blaming coaches for everything. There's just too much of that going on in the league. It really needs an entire facelift. So I hear where Shaq is coming from. I don't think he was wrong.
Yeah, and I agree with all of that, bro. The league is the problem. And the league is why I stopped watching. They're the problem. And honestly, it started with Shaq. Well, his era, because he was load managing. They weren't calling it back then. He was the one running around with the philosophy that real games ain't till the playoffs. So he was also a part of that too. Things started to change when Shaq was having his reign, honestly. So that's when it started to taper off, So the days of Patrick Ewing, playing with no knees, I mean, no knees, bro. He's still out there playing as many games as he possibly can. You know what I'm saying? So with all of that stuff, bro, like those days are long gone. But like, bro, I used to have trading cards and stuff. I'm looking in the trading cards and things, and I'm looking and I'm seeing how many games these guys were playing. 82 games
all the time.
81, 82.
I don't buy the need for lack of games or players need to play less games. I just don't see where does the evidence that backs this up. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, man. So it kind of started with Shaq, man. So I don't want to put the blame on him, but me and my dad, we would get mad because we felt like he was influencing Wade with that. Hey, man, you can turn it on during the playoffs, or hey, man, you can blah 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 blah. Because I think Shaq and Kobe had issues about that, where Shaq wanted to turn it on during the playoffs or not playing as many games as he could have played because he was saving himself for the play. All that garbage. So yeah, man. So if part of his argument of these dudes being Cupcakes is that it's like, hey, you have to, he would have to see some responsibility about that, because that mentality it didn't start with him, but he carried it. But overall, though, I think the league is just dog water. It's complete trash, man. So I can't get with it. I barely watch it. You know what I'm saying? College basketball is better at this point, which is insane for me to say because I'm not a college basketball person, but I would rather watch college basketball games because they actually play basketball. It's ridiculous, man. So the NBA needs an entire overhaul, but it will never happen. So I don't think I will ever be watching like how I used to. I don't see why I would.
Yeah, I wish I could say that you were wrong, but you're not. Shouts out to my brother M. Duddy's on the chat as always. Yeah, that is alleged. I don't know if I'm buying any of that. I don't care, man. Like I'm not saying that you're wrong, Dudley, but if you're running up and down the court and sprinting to the basket for dunks, I don't see how that's that much less mileage than sprinting up and down the court and then stopping at the 3-point line. Like you're running all the way to the basket. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. Like these are choices. These are choices to play a more convenient, less competitive, gimmicky brand of basketball. That's how I see it.
RIP to the NBA, man. RIP, man.
And so now we have an interesting article being written about the marketing of NFL wives and girlfriends. Apparently, recent developments with NFL star player relationships being used as a marketing tactic to get more people watching the NFL, specifically more women, is a thing. And, they're citing, Taylor Swift and this woman who I've never heard of, who is engaged to Justin Herbert, and a couple of other these NFL relationships as evidence to the NFL's plan to take advantage of these relationships in order to get more eyes on the NFL. So this says Taylor Swift, Madison Beer, and other wives and girlfriends are part of the NFL's greater plan. If you've noticed a lot of social media posts from the NFL about wives and girlfriends of the league's players, then you know what's happening. It's not in your head. You're not imagining it. Excuse me. When Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce back in 2023 and showed up the game instead of that year, it certainly resulted in more eyeballs on the Chiefs and NFL in general. Well, the league liked that, and now they're pushing to get more females interested in football. This offseason, Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert and his fiancee Madison Beer were seen at training camp looking very much in love. Photos and social posts have also surfaced of New York Giants quarterback Jackson Dart and his girlfriend Marissa Ayers. Plus, there have been sightings of Joe Burrow with his rumored lady Sports Illustrated model Olivia Ponton. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes' wife Brittany is a regular in social media posts. On Friday, Front Office Sports' Ellen Briggs released a report stating that the NFL is putting an extra spotlight on wives and girlfriends as part of its Helmets Off marketing plan. It's an actual marketing run with the hope to scale up female-focused content more in the future. On the league and club level, we've engaged our players' families and loved ones for years. Ian Trombetta, the NFL's senior vice president of social and influencer marketing, told Front Office Sports, whether it's training camp, weekly practice, or a major event like the Super Bowl, we look for authentic opportunities to highlight our players and the people who are a part of their journey. He added that the NFL isn't fronting, though. The content is authentic, genuine, and relatable, and that's resonated strongly with women and young fans who are key growth audiences for the NFL. What helps the NFL is when football players date high-profile stars. Swift, Beer, Ayers, and Ponton have their own following with millions of followers across platforms such as Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok, so it only helps the league to get more attention on their accounts. So how will this impact football viewing this fall? There's a good chance, judging by Trombetta's comments, that you'll be seeing even more of the wives and girlfriends of the NFL players on TV and on social media. So what do you think about this marketing tactic ploy involving a greater spotlight on the NFL players' wives and girlfriends?
You know, I'm surprised they admitted it more than anything. I saw the footage of Justin Herbert, caked up during training camp. When I saw that, I was like, okay, what's going on? Did they start the install yet? I don't give a damn that he's, caked up with some influencer girl. You know what I'm saying? Has he adapted to the new offense? Is my question. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out why y'all showing me this. I just kept scrolling. You know what I'm saying? Then I saw this Jackson Dart situation as well. I thought I saw some Joe Burrow stuff either this year or last year. I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought, I was like, why y'all? I'm like, boy, they must really be bored. They must really don't have nothing to talk about. Did I think it was some type of covert thing? Did I think it had any ties to the Taylor Swift fiasco? I didn't. And I'm tinfoil man. So the fact that they actually had a campaign, told me the name of the campaign of Helmets Off, and telling me that, hey man, by the way, we wanted to engage our female viewers, so we're going to capture the authentic relationships that influencers have with NFL top quarterbacks. Are you kidding me? Like, what world are we living in, man? So the fact that they even told me that this has been a strategic campaign, and now also, because now I put my hat on for real. So that lady, that Asian lady that was at the Chargers game, that was part of their thing too. That's not Helmets Off, but that's we want international fan base. Why are you showing her so much? It caught everybody off guard.
They brought her back. They
brought
started
her back.
they started showing her in other games. Yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah, she
I was
became
like,
a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
are you kidding me? What's going on? So they had to get their money's worth apparently for that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, so we have foreign influencers that's supposed to get foreign influencer women. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, getting our fans involved. So yeah, the NFL has been trying all angles for marketing. So you do Asian women at Chargers game. You got Taylor Swift. You got ladies at training camp. You got Nickelodeon AI stuff. I mean, they're checking everything off the list. Okay. So last thing they haven't done was the transgender thing. I mean, they'll do rainbow things. We covered that with the Dez Bryant thing. All right, but they haven't had a transgendered coach. That'll be the day. And then have, you know, cameras follow, and then, you know, we can get in the day in the life of a transgendered coach in the NFL.
I'm sure it's coming.
It's on the way, apparently.
Yeah.
If you haven't, NFL, give me a check. Give me a Jay-Z check, man. I'll whip that up real quick. I'll get Enos Cancer in a minute. All right. I'll have Enos Cancer on the first flight out there, bro. But I need one of those Jay-Z checks. But the last thing I'll say before I let you go, man, is man, my old lady last season, man, she's in there binge watching some stuff. She was like, "Hey, who's David Njoku? They say he plays for the Hurricanes." I was like, "Yeah, he used to play for the Hurricanes. What you talking about David Njoku for?" "Oh, he's on this show." And so they're following him around. It was something they were following the Philadelphia Eagles. And it was old. So it was one thing, it was old, and it was the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, who was the running back for the Eagles and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the hell if I know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what you asking me for? So this was probably like either 2020 or 2021 or whatever. So they've been working on this whole thing of following football players around with their families. And so she was getting all invested in the stuff, and it was working on her, apparently. You know what I'm saying? So she's asking what players is, she's asking what a first down is, all that stuff. So I'm like, hey man, I mean, I guess I'm okay with it, but I didn't know that this was a whole marketing ploy. So I guess I can credit them for, you know, letting the cat out of the bag. I mean, it was kind of obvious, but I guess I can credit them for that. But now I'm gonna start putting my tinfoil hat on for everything else that don't feel right about the NFL. So but yeah, this seems like what it is. I don't like it, but this is the world we live in, bro, where, you know, there's gonna be a lot of crossover nowadays, man. You're gonna see influencers during halftime, unfortunately. Goodness gracious. But what are your thoughts, man, on the NFL coming clean in some ways, saying that they have a helmets off marketing campaign to try to get more women and other demographics to watch football? What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, this is why the NFL is better than all of the other leagues at marketing itself. This is an effective strategy. It works and it will work. Of course, I always roll my eyes at these not erroneous, but I always roll my eyes at the reports that the NFL was getting all of these extra viewership numbers and more attention because of the whole Taylor Swift phenomenon. Because as someone who is invested in the sport, I'm going to watch whether Taylor Swift is featured or not. I could care less whether Taylor Swift is, you know, put on camera celebrating whenever something good happens for the Chiefs, right? So I don't give a damn. But apparently, middle America and the rest of the masses of the population, they do care about that, and it does draw them in, and it does work. So not only do I think that this is an effective marketing tactic, not only do I think that the NFL is all but bulletproof at this point, and they can even go so far as to admit that this is a marketing tactic without it having to come back, without it having to work against them. I also believe that other leagues are envious and wish that they could do this, but they can't. I think the NBA would love to be able to do this.
100%, bro.
The NBA would love to be able to do this. The NBA just can't do this because there are too many of its marquee players who would be an embarrassment if they tried to
be booty models all of that.
Exactly. See, like the NBA can't do this because what are you going to do? Feature Zion Williamson's relationship? You're going to feature Zion Williamson getting strippers and booty girls and sex workers pregnant? That's not going to work with Middle America. Can the
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, the NBA going to try to do this with LaMelo Ball? Getting social media influencers all pregnant up, and now they're in the middle of a domestic violence dispute. That's not domestic violence, but domestic. What is it I'm looking for? Child support and all that, custody. Yeah, like that's not going to work. What is it going to do? Feature Anthony Edwards, who has like 5 kids from 4 baby mamas? That's not going to cut it either. He's also in the midst of a child support dispute, ongoing. So the NBA can't do this. What are they going to do? Feature Paul George, who gets booty, also sex workers getting them pregnant? The NBA can't do this because NBA players are dumber in totality than NFL players. They're less disciplined, especially sexually, than NFL players. And
the football players are the ones with CTE.
Right. Go figure, right? and see, the thing, like the NFL's different because it has a militaristic discipline pros. Like the NFL, football as a sport, the culture around it is more team first, sport first, then player. Like the NFL isn't pro player first, and we make all the excuses in the world for players the way the NBA is. The NBA is pro player this. Players can do no wrong. Whenever something bad happens with players, it's always the league's fault or the ownership's fault or the media's fault. It's never players' fault. The NBA is pro player to a fault. And so as a result of that, basketball as a culture is a very apologizing AAU, just give them whatever they want, let them do whatever they want, no discipline, no structure, no order. So NBA players, basketball players, they grow up getting everything handed to them. Therefore, they get to do whatever they want. Then they go into the league, and once they start getting money and women come into the equation, they have no discipline and they run amok. So you can't actually leverage NBA players' personal lives in the same way that the NFL can, because these guys come into the NFL as a whole more disciplined than NBA players.
And now, older too, by the way.
Yeah, and which also factors into it. They spend more years in college maturing. So like, the NFL player, if the NFL does have its fair share of undisciplined humans. See Tyreek Hill, right? Antonio Cromartie, right? So the NFL is not devoid of the Zion Anthony Edwards type profile, but for every one of those in the NFL, there's like 3 more Matthew Staffords and Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, these guys that just get with one woman. A lot of them get married, start raising families right out the gate. They're not going to be in the streets doing anything that could be embarrassing if the league tried to use their personal life as a way to get more people interested in the sport. But that kind of stuff is replete throughout the NBA. There's not enough LeBrons and Steph Currys and guys who stay out the way. There's not enough of them. The majority of these dudes in the NBA are just undisciplined dumbasses.
Harsh but true, bro.
Child support this, 2, 3, 4 different baby mamas, strippers, OnlyFans people, sex workers. The NBA is a cesspool.
It is. It is.
So I think the NBA would love to do this. They just can't. They don't have enough bodies to throw at it. They don't. Even golden boys like Dwayne Wade will go out of their marriage and father a child with some other woman who's not his wife. Speaking of Gabrielle Union, and Dwayne Wade's a golden boy. He's one of the good ones. So, the NBA just can't leverage this in the way that the NFL can, and it is effective. There are going to be more of these suburban women who pay attention to the NBA because they follow this beer woman on Instagram. I don't know who the hell she is, but they damn sure do.
I mean, tens of millions of followers.
And Justin Herbert is going to marry that girl, and they're going to do the thing. It's going to be them two, and then she's going to get pregnant, and now you have the image of the American family. The NFL just knows how to work this stuff. They can milk it for what it's worth. You can't do that with Anthony Edwards. He's got 4 different baby mamas. That's not going to work. And again, it's not that the NFL doesn't have those guys. It's that there's questions as to whether Anthony Edwards is the face of the league. So like the NBA is trying to prop up these superstars, but they got all of this extra baggage. And so that's why the NBA just can't do it. Because when your candidate for face of the league is a 4-time baby mama offender, you're not really going to be able to leverage his personal life in the way that they can do with Mahomes.
That's also true.
Yeah, like there was a point in time where they were doing that with John Morant. Is John Morant the face of the league? You can't do that when this guy's brandishing guns on social media. going to the all black affair in Memphis. You just can't do it. So my overall point, and listen, if there's anybody who's offended by this because you love the NBA, tell me where I'm wrong. But the NBA, in terms of its player base, is far more degenerate than the NFL. It gives me no pleasure in saying that, but the truth is the truth. It's not like I'm happy saying this, but the truth is the truth. And part of the reason for that is the NBA's complicitness in being overly pro player to the point where you just create this environment of a lack of accountability, a lack of order, a lack of structure, and just pandering to these players constantly to the point where now you're just bringing in generation after generation of professional athlete into your league with no discipline and no ability to be responsible for making good, sound personal decisions. The NFL has a better handle on that than the NBA does, and that's why the NFL can pull this off. Hats off to them. It is what it is, bro. It works. This is America. Do what you can to get all the attention that you want. But I guarantee you this, the NBA and these other leagues wish that they can do it, and they just can't.
Yeah, man. I never thought I never thought I'd see the day where the NFL would have to do all of these extra things, but because they've already been running the game for so long. So that's why I was offended by the Taylor Swift thing. I was like, you don't have to resort to this. You know what I'm saying? Like this y'all ain't hurting. So why y'all doing this? I felt like it was being greedy.
There's no end to the greed. That's what I was going to say. There's no end to what you think you can get from it. It's just greed. It's corporate greed.
Yeah, the lady at the Chargers game. The part of me that was like, maybe I'm tripping, is that the NFL don't have to do that. But they are doing it. When I saw the show, before I even knew it is, when I saw the reality show, they were following like Jalen Hurts and I don't know if it was Kirk Cousins or them dudes, and just following them around with their family or whatever situation they got going on while they going to camp. So different from Hard Knocks, it was family oriented, which I was like, I don't give a damn about this. You know what I'm saying? So it was really interesting to see that they would do that. But I'm like, well, what else y'all gonna air on NFL TV and all this other stuff during off season or during their season? Like, I know y'all need content. Everything's content, but a strategic effort to go get women. Yeah. Go invested in football. Hey, let's get these guys who are already dating influencers. That's brilliant, Tom. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, just with her at camp. They got their own paparazzi snapping pictures that Justin Herbert, the lovebirds in the spring. What the hell? And so me watching it as a guy, that's why I said I looked at it and I just scroll right past. I don't give a damn about this. How are installs going? That's my question. Is he developing the playbook? But that wasn't for me. That was the girl with her pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah.
Who's this Justin Herbert guy? He's cute. You know what I'm saying? Who's this Trevor Lawrence? He looks like an alien. And then they're just following these people now. And now they know. Now these girls know who Justin Herbert is. Joe Burrow, Jackson Dart. Yeah, man, the finesse is here, bro. So all these little, you know what I'm saying, whatever girls that were, I don't know what the hell they was doing on Sundays anyway, but now they're going to be watching football games.
It works. It's going to work. Yeah.
It's wild business, man. So, hey, man, hey, what do I know, right? You know, I guess, you know, they're saying that the rich get richer, you know, I guess that's why I ain't rich. Because, you know, I go, hey, well, I'm good where I'm at. But, you know what I'm saying? The people that at the top, they're like, nah, there's more money underneath these rocks.
Yeah, that's right. There's no end. There's no end to it, bro. Think about this. It was always understood that Christmas was the NBA's day, right? So it was a tradition. Christmas Day, and the NFL gets out of the way. It's an NBA day. You get 4 games back to back to back to back. And that's supposed to be a day to celebrate the NBA, right? The NFL did their market research and they was like, why? We can take that too.
Right.
And they took it. They took it. I want to say like the last couple of years, there have been more viewers watching this Christmas NFL games than the Christmas NBA games. So there's no end to the corporate greed. And whenever they can seize upon an opportunity, they're going to do it. The NBA, Christmas no longer belongs to the NBA. Now, we've been kind of, you know, dogging the NBA on today's show, rightfully so. It's not like we're saying anything that's wrong, but and so the NBA is largely responsible for why they were right for being conquered on their own day by the NFL. But there's no end to it. The NFL came and said, we taking Christmas too. Y'all ain't got it. We got that too. So there's just no end to this stuff, man. And again, bro, the NBA has a very serious existential cultural problem. Baseball can't do this, I think, largely because baseball is also, in terms of its players being more disciplined and less unruly, baseball is also good in that department. But baseball couldn't capitalize on this because I would say baseball is a bit too international. So, like, I don't know. Something tells me that if Major League Baseball were to try to do this, it wouldn't be as effective because the international sports viewing audience is paying attention to like soccer and other stuff. Like, I think it would just be harder for Major League Baseball to pull this off. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know enough about the culture of hockey to speak on it. So that part I'm not sure. But I do know baseball, I think, couldn't do it because of the international angle. And the NBA just can't do it because it's a league that's in complete and utter disarray from a cultural standpoint. And like, you know, I'm not trying to blast these guys for the personal decisions that they make because that's you, bro. Live your life. But the league can't leverage these things the way the NFL can because of that very reason. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you got Brandon Ingram running around with a tattooed up box wrapper. Like, the NBA can't feature. Like, what is the NBA going to do? Man. Feature that? Like, the NBA, what can the NBA do with that?
I mean, I think they probably showed that too on TNT, like, oh, Glorilla's that. You know, I'm like, bro, I don't give a damn about no damn Glorilla. You know what I'm saying? What game for that?
That's what I'm like. I think these other leagues are just bending the knee. Everybody's in a rush to second place when it comes to the NFL. The cabal is firmly in place, and any evidence to the contrary is laughable. The NBA is in a tough spot. They can't do anything about this, but this is their fault. They've made their bed, and now they have to sleep in it. Hats off to the NBA, to the NFL for continuing to find new and innovative ways to corner every single market possible. They'll figure out new ways to do it, and it'll work. Next is probably going to be the gamers. The NFL, if they haven't done this, they'll probably figure out a way to like encroach on like the Twitch streaming or the Kick streaming thing. Yeah, so they'll get the gamers too at that point, and then at that point, the NFL is just going to have everybody.
I think they're wasting some time with the Nickelodeon stuff. They need to go ahead and do the Kai Cenat and Streamer University group of kids. Yeah, and they'll clean house with that garbage.
Yeah. So look, man, it is what it is, man. Hats off to them. They have the audience. See, my central point with all of this, and I'm going to be done with it, is culturally, the NFL has cultivated the right kind of infrastructure to be able to do this effectively. Mm-hmm. And that is where you will see the opposite in a league like the NFL, I mean the NBA, in which they have done everything they possibly can to cultivate a culture which pretty much guarantees you cannot do stuff like this.
What a crappy league, bro. What a crappy league. Hey, man. So my only thing is, because I'm watching less and less football too, by the way, but I'll still watch it. But while I'm watching it, please, to a minimum. Okay, to a minimum. I do not want to see any of this garbage. That Taylor Swift stuff was egregious. That lady at the Chargers game was also offensive to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's just keep it at a minimum. Dial it back. I'll get it. I'll take it like an unwanted ad while I'm on YouTube. I'll take that. But don't get aggressive and double ad me. So don't get aggressive and make me press the little button and hit dismiss now. Now you're getting greedy. Just keep it here and get them off my screen and get back to football. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the rich get richer because they don't know where to stop. So just pump the brakes is all I'm saying. Just pump the brakes.
I don't know about it, man. I think you're gonna be a little let down when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, bro. They're gonna try my whole set. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try my whole set. I already know it. It's crazy, man.
And now we move on to the Pop the Balloon Challenge. Now, this is a newcomer to the channel. We have not previously discussed the Pop the Balloon channel, but the creators of Pop the Balloon are defending the show against people who are criticizing it for supposedly, perpetuating stereotypes of Black people when it comes to like dating and relationships, right? There's people who are criticizing the show because they feel as though it perpetuates low-hanging fruit and kind of makes the community look bad from a relational standpoint. And what the creators are saying in response to that is, hey, look, man, our show is just highlighting, the superficial nature of dating, of modern dating. That's all we're doing. We're just bearing that to light. So don't get mad at us. Don't shoot the messenger. Is basically what they're saying. So this says Pop the Balloon creators defend show by saying it exposes unrealistic dating expectations of dating. The creators behind one of the internet's biggest dating shows say the unrealistic expectations of participants are the point, and it doesn't actually create those expectations itself. BM Matundu and Arlette Amuli spoke about the success of their show Pop the Balloon and the criticism that it receives in a new interview with CNN Africa's Larry Madawo, pushing back against critics who say the show encourages shallow judgment. Matundu and Amuli say they've heard criticism about the show's purpose and stand by it. The revelation here is that dating is superficial, very materialistic. That's what's wrong with the dating scene. Like, people don't really try to look at the person internally. They'll just look at you and be like, oh, no, his socks. Yeah, but they'll say everything else is great, but your shoes, I can't do it. The creators also address feedback from someone who told them the show amplifies what she considers the worst stereotypes about Black people. Matundu acknowledged the critique, but framed the show as a universal mirror. Even if I did this show, other nations, other races, it's going to be the same thing. This is just what the dating scene is. How are you going to fix a problem if you don't see it? The show's format is blunt by design. A single contestant stands before several people who are each holding a red balloon. The moment a panelist sees or hears something they don't like, they pop it. What remains at the end is a potential match or nothing. The show's success has pushed the format into mainstream TV. Netflix launched a live spinoff, Pop the Balloon Live, hosted by actress Yvonne Orji, which debuted in April 2025. All right, so here are the commentators during this interview piece. Not commentators, the creators during this interview piece.
People are living in unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
It's not realistic. You need to stop acting as if like you're going to find somebody that's perfect.
So the revelation here is that dating is superficial.
Dating is superficial.
Very materialistic.
That's what's wrong with the dating scene.
Like, people don't really try to look at the person like internally. Like, they'll just look at you and say like, oh no, his socks, yeah, but they'll say everything else is great. Like everything you said, you know, you're attractive, this, that, that, but your shoes, I can't do it. So I just wish people would like try to look past the outside a little more.
I spoke to a young Black woman who's a freshman in college, and she said, I don't like the show because it highlights the worst stereotypes about Black people. What do you think of that?
I mean, at the end of the day, right, we're all human. Even if I did this show other nations, other races, it's going to be the same thing.
The same.
This is just what the dating scene is. This is how we are. But our main goal is to let's solve the problem. We are showing people this is the problem. How are you going to fix a problem if you don't see it?
We bring people from all walks of life. So we get doctors, we get students, we get servers, we get lawyers. Like we're bringing all types of people on this show from 21 to 50 up. And it's like, we can't determine what kind of person, what kind of character they come and they put on the show. So that's what I think makes our show really stand out, is that we let people be themselves.
All right, there you go. So what do you make of their explanation behind the premise of the show?
That's some good PR. That's some good PR. That's a nice little spin that they're putting on this, but I can't go for that. At least from what I've seen from it. Have I actually sat down and watched a show of Pop the Balloon? No, I have not. Proudly, I can say that. Now, have I seen clips of it? Absolutely. I'm on social media, so I've seen the clips of it. From what I was able to gather from the clips, now the girl who does the interviewing, she's fairly neutral, so she's not coming in there with gasoline and setting fires. Like, so the host girl, the girl I was talking there, I've seen her and she's very cordial with the people. So even if there's a whole bunch of balloons getting popped, she's still like smiling on her face. She's not getting messy and ratchet. So, but I don't see any redeeming stuff from that show. Occasionally they'll have nice people in there presented and whatever. So I'll get that. But for the most part, I think it's centered around the ratchet, because I think they know what sells. And I think they know what people came here to see. And it's dysfunction and ratchetness. It's like people from it's like that. Honestly, what they just said is no different than what Fresh and Fit would say. It's like, hey, these girls here represent the dating pool. I can't help that this is what people are doing nowadays. I can't help that the people that I brought in are superficial. Hey, that her baby hairs are laid like that, and her lashes are like that, and she's got a BBL. I can't help that. Yes, you can. You interviewed her. There were people who sent in tapes and stuff like that. Like, there was a whole process. You know exactly who you put on that damn stage. Oh yeah, this girl's an idiot. We're gonna put her on stage to reflect the current market. I'm pretty sure if there was a whole bunch of coherent people up there that and you wanted to actually show people out there that there's a redeeming side of dating, so you can show us the ugly, but show us the good side too. It's kind of like what UGK said about whenever they talked about they drug stuff in their music, and they said, yeah, we talked about the other stuff, but we also talked about the part where you go to jail. And he said nowadays everybody just talks about the glorification of the selling, you know. And so this show, to me, honestly, the only thing I ever see is the glorification of the ratchet, of the stupid, and the ignorant. So that's why I always classified that show as ignorant television that does perpetuate stereotypes. So they can sit there and say that, hey man, we're just trying to highlight how bad the dating pool is or how ignorant these people look, you know, so we can make a change at our own homes. I don't think so. I think a lot of people are watching this and carrying that energy with them, because I don't know if there's ever a redeeming quality within the show. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, I've never seen that. But what are your thoughts, man, on the creators of Pop the Balloon saying that, hey man, we're just reflecting what the current superficial dating market looks like. We're not doing anything wrong here. What are your thoughts, man?
I'm with them. Honestly, I agree with them. I think they are reflecting what the current dating market looks like. And I agree with you. I do think that they are highlighting the ratchet, because A plus B equals 1 + 1 = 2. Deductive reasoning, the current dating market is ratchet. So they are highlighting the current dating market, and they are putting ratchetness on display on that platform because the current dating market is ratchet. Life is not that complicated. If you are worthy of being chosen to be a wife, if you are worthy of being a husband, you'll be one. There are many women throughout the world who don't need to be on a show like that, and they're not. Do you know why? Because they've already been married. A man has already chosen them. They already have the requisite qualities that a man can detect and say, you know what, this is somebody that I can see myself being a life partner with, raising a family with, creating a household and a foundation with. It's only the individuals, and this is going to sound harsh, but it is what it is. It's only the individuals that have something off about them that finds them on shows like that. Because if you really were that valued a commodity, if you really were that worthy of being chosen by somebody, if you really were that worthy of being a wife, you don't need that show. Somebody would have wiped you up already. So there's something going on which makes it to where you need to be on stuff like that. It's no different than dating apps. Like after like the age of 20, I would say once you've gotten into your mid 20s, once you're 25, 26 and older, and you're still on dating apps, there's a reason for that. There's something that's going on with you that makes it to where you need to exercise that as an option because you in and of yourself haven't been chosen by anybody yet. Like it's cute to be on dating apps when you're 18 to 22 and you're just playing around, figuring out who you are, and you're still young and you still have all the rest of your life to be an adult. But once but once you become an adult and you're older and you're in your mid 20s and you're in your prime physical peak and you're in your prime childbearing years, if no one's chosen you to be a wife yet and you need to be on Bumble and Tinder, there's a reason for that. You would have been claimed by now. And it's the same thing with us. Like if we really are wanting to be husbands and fathers and be heads of household, then when the time comes, we'll know to make the right decision, choose the woman that we feel is worthy and get out the game. So at a point when we're 25, 26, 27, 30 plus, 40 plus, and we still out here single in the dating market, no, there's something that we did that was a miscalculation. And we are also on dating apps and trying to exercise all of these new and alternative options in order to find somebody. No, we miscalculated this at some point. Period. Plain and simple. Back when humans were in the bush, we were having children and getting married off at 17 years old, 16 years old. The natural way that we used to live when we were in our most pure state was starting families at 16, 17 years old, 18 years old. You know, and that was it. Yeah, we still had the infrastructure of the village to help with the raising of the children and to help with the sharing of resources and food and agriculture. But that's the way things were. Humans weren't 35, 40 plus still single trying to figure it out. That's a modern machination.
It is.
So this unnatural way that we're living, this human zoo that we're living in, is that these shows like that are just a reflection of the fact that we're living in a man-made zoo. All of us, we're just zoo animals. We're living in a glorified zoo. And the dating app is the pellets that they throw at us whenever we need to be fed because we can't feed ourselves. We can't go out foraging for food on our own. We don't know how to do it. We're atrophied of the skill. So the zookeepers have to feed us because we can't feed ourselves. We're living in a human zoo. That's what these municipalities and these developed cities and these urban centers are, where all of the single people live. We're human. We're rounded up living in human zoos, and we're the zoo animals living in an unnatural state. We are.
And living like wild animals.
Yeah, undisciplined wild animals.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not trying to celebrate the Pop the Balloon challenge, but it is what it is. You hit the nail on the head when you said they highlight the ratchet. The dating pool is the ratchet. If you were supposed to be married off and having and a mother, you're not 35, 40 plus, still single with no kids, and there's no reason for that. There is a reason for that. You would have been claimed by now.
There's probably a very good reason for that.
That's correct. and all of these guys, and look, man, hey, listen, I'm not trying to throw stones at a glass house. I am a 40-year-old single guy who also has no children. And I acknowledge I made several miscalculations along the way. I did. Several. Am I supposed to be here? Who knows? That's up to one's interpretation. But I would say, if I'm being completely honest, I made many miscalculations at a time when it would have behooved me to not make those calculations if I really did see myself being a family man. So when you're all y'all on Hinge and Bumble and Tinder, 30 plus, 35 plus, yeah, you're in this human zoo. And does it feel unnatural to do these things? Of course it does, because it is unnatural. It's not. We're not supposed to be doing any of this weird stuff. And everybody who's on these shows, 30, 35, 40 plus, that's also unnatural. It is. So yeah, they are highlighting the ratchet, but the dating pool today is synonymous with ratchet. The millions upon millions of women who don't need to go and pop the balloon, you know where they are? Married. Most of them with children. They wouldn't need to do those things. They didn't miscalculate. And the saddest part about this entire thing is the slew of us out here walking around in these streets who don't understand how to be held accountable. We're just saying the dating pool sucks. No, you miscalculated. Bro, you miscalculated. Ma'am, you miscalculated. You wanted to prioritize career. Or dude, you wanted to get your body count up. You wanted to be in the streets and have all of these women. That's a miscalculation. And all y'all women running around here, you wanted to prioritize your career. You wanted to get your earning potential up. You wanted to push certain things to the side in lieu of you'll get to marriage and family later. And now you're wondering why you're 35 and 40 and on Bumble and Tinder, or watching Pop the Balloon, or wondering why you can't find nobody, or why every guy isn't good enough. You miscalculated. You miscalculated. That is a you problem. That is not the rest of the world's problem, because the rest of the world that didn't miscalculate it is too busy handling business, creating foundations, and creating households. So it is what it is, man. People need to look themselves in the mirror. I do believe that shows like this are a reflection of what's going on out here in these streets. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that stuff you said, man. Especially the part of, after 25, man. Because I've trust me, bruh, as an outsider, I was trying. Hey, man, she's cool. What was going wrong here, man? These guys just didn't see the value over here. Oh yeah, I found out one way or another. Man. So yeah, man, and I think a lot of people can attest to that, man. That's why in certain countries, man, if you are, over a certain age and you have not been married yet, they look at you like an outcast,
or they forbid you from having children.
Yeah,
certain
they just shun your ass.
Yeah,
they just shun you and go, you're done. Here. If you're 26 with no kids and stuff, it's celebrated. Over there, they're like, whoa, the hell's wrong with you? So yeah, man, culturally, man, here in America, man, values about family is all over the place. And yes, I get it. Naturally, there's microcosms of those values being shown on TV shows like Housewives of this, Pop the Balloon that, Fresh and Fit this. You know what I'm saying? I forgot the name of that other show where that guy will have them girls on there.
20v1, 20 versus 1.
The 20v1. And it's another show was we covered it here too. It doesn't matter. But it's like one of those shows, kind of like Fresh and Fit, where they'll just have girls, a circle of girls. And
is it we in Miami? Is it that one?
Not that one. It's white people, but that too.
Oh, it's whatever.
It's whatever. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So all of these shows are, yes, they're genuine reflections of what's going on nowadays. I hear that. But it's also entertainment. And it's also capitalizing off of the sickness,
the dysfunction. Yes.
And so who am I? Who am I to say you can't go do that? But what I am going to say is that's what you're doing. So don't sit here and act like it's some noble thing. Like the creators, like, hey, we're just trying to pull up a mirror. I could do this with any culture of people. I'm just trying to show the mirror to make people think that, hey, man, maybe I'm being superficial. Now, that's not what you're doing. You know that these people are sick. And you know that there's sick people that are going to watch this and love it. So you're interested in selling the dysfunction. That's all it is. Call it what it is. So, I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like, dysfunction has been sold as entertainment so long as they've had these devil boxes called TVs. All right. So it is what it is with that. So I get it. But don't sit here and act like you're noble and you're actually trying to do society a favor by showing us these ratchet people on repeat.
Like you're doing God's work. Yeah.
Don't try, no. Actually, what you're seeing is, you know what I'm saying? Well, I wish I had something like a cloth or something. Actually, what you're seeing is, okay, no, man, don't gaslight me, bro. I know what I'm looking at. This is ratchet television. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I've seen a couple shows where, a clips of, it's a nice dude, he'll come up there and the women's instantly, and then the guy get to talking, man, he's a nice guy. And then the ladies would say exactly what they said. Yeah, I just wasn't feeling the fit. I wasn't feeling your outfit.
They would pop. I get popped. They'd pop a balloon on me the second I walked out there, guaranteed.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, hey, and it is what it is, because who are they inviting on the show? Right. They're inviting the boppers of bops.
That's the thing.
Super bops.
That's right, man. But the boppers are what if you're a single guy out here past a certain point in age, that's what you're talking to. That's what you're talking to. It's sad, bro. It's sad. It's unfortunate.
Now, the last thing I'll say, bro, about all of this, bro, because yes, bro, it is a cesspool, bro, and you know what I'm saying? So, it is getting worse. It is getting worse. Like, it's becoming more transactional, and so the amount of ignorance that's being said. But again, it's social media that's fueling it. But these shows and stuff like that also add fuel to it, because there's girls in there, they're like, oh yeah, she ate that up. He lame. Oh yeah, he was nice. He was nice and all, but yeah, I didn't like his socks. Like what the girl said, bro. Like, I'm sure that's been said on the show.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, man. So with all of that, my thing is there's nothing harmless about that. That's no different than listening to box rap. That's no different than any other type of ratchet forms of entertainment that people are consuming. And not everybody's going to be consuming it with a clean lens, is my point. And there's going to be other people out there popping balloons in their life and acting like they're on the damn show. And the only thing the person had to do was go, hey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hi.
Right.
Pop.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? My name's Dogon SS.
Yeah.
You trying to shake my hand?
Yeah. Bro, that's how I felt when I told that story about the girl that I remember. When I told the story, I was walking behind a girl in public.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And like, I wasn't trying to follow her. We just so happened to be going in the same direction in produce. And she gave me this look of dismissiveness that felt like she was popping a balloon on me.
She popped a balloon on you, bro.
Yeah. And it's just for any, like, cause like a lot of people, because I get into a tirade talking about social media, right? And a lot of people, I've had debates back and forth with people who don't understand why I have such a strong belief set when it comes to like social media activity and behavior. And I always tell people like my relationship with social media is very distant. I rarely ever am on it. I rarely ever post. I'm very inactive. I maintain my accounts and I may use them from time to time whenever I am posting neutral things that are of interest. But in terms of just posting social media for the purposes of just kind of showcasing my life in order to gain the adulation of my internet community, I divested from that behavior over a decade ago. You and I have talked about this. And the chief reason why I did that way back in like 2017, 2018 is when I made the decision to just maintain a very distant relationship from social media in all capacities. It's because I saw this coming. This climate that we're in, I saw it coming. Like, humans have been trained essentially since 2011 to like basically weigh their dating and relationship prospects from a comparison standpoint. Like, we've been informed on what is desirability. Like, we've been informed on that. Like, instead of discovering what that means for ourselves, or instead of getting insight on what that means from your parents or your older siblings or your cousins or your auntie or whomever, grandma, grandpa, whomever, like, the internet's telling us what is desirable. So essentially, since 2011, people have been trained on how to orient themselves relationally from the internet. And it's a never-ending cycle of perpetual defeatism, because there's always going to be a girl who's prettier. There's always going to be a girl with a nicer body. There's always going to be a girl with longer hair. There's always going to be a girl with these kinds of tattoos. There's always going to be a guy who makes this much more money. There's always going to be a guy who drives this kind of better car. There's always going to be a guy who lives in this kind of house. If you're constantly exposing yourself to this artificial stimulus on a daily basis, there's never going to be anything that's good enough for you, because you always have a mode of being able to compare it against something else to determine that you deserve or need something better.
Right.
So you're caught in this perpetual loop of pros and cons and comparisons and contrasts when it comes to just living life and making relationship decisions. And now we're several generations removed from the inception of this, and people are just stuck in it and they can't get out of their own way.
It's insane,
and the people who were successful in getting out of their own way, they either were never tapped into it in the first place, or they didn't make that miscalculation and got out of it at the time when they were supposed to. Everybody else who weren't able to do that and they kept making those miscalculations, now they're stuck in this and they're mired in it for the rest of their lives.
It's, and solid point, bro. I do miss the days of IG where, just posting your lunch was the best thing to do, man. But you got to take it at a certain angle and use a filter, and everybody was happy about that. Now if you got to post your loft, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta post your G-Wagon or something, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You're driving a standard motor vehicle, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got a scat pack, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're done. Look, man, I'm just a regular guy, man. So yeah, I too gave up that portion of social media. If I do make a post, it's literally for comedy. It's to make people laugh. And it's not for whatever. It's like, I think this is funny. Yeah. So it's to post that. But yeah, to post because I'm cool. Hey, ladies, check me out. Or, hey, you know what I'm saying? You dudes wish you was as fly as I am. Those days is long gone, man. But yeah, man, but there's still some people caught up in the whirlwind of that, man. And
single people are caught. It's not some people, it's single people. Single people are caught up in that whirlwind. Single people over a certain age, I'll say that, because again,
there's people in relationships who think they're single who still do that.
Yeah, that's very sad.
It's a mindset. It's a mindset, bro, and it's got everybody, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like this, and trust me, bro, all the time, bro. I'm scrolling on TikTok or whatever, and there's people out here in full-blown relationships, apparently, making posts about, hey man, you should never deal with a girl who's I'm like, why would you do that? Why were you dating a girl who posts online, bro? Like, she's not for you, bro. She's for the streets. Hey, never deal with a girl who's got an Instagram Reels or her friends and she's posting stuff in her friend. Why would you do that? Why are you dating a girl who does that? That's what I would say. You see what I'm saying? But there's people out here that's doing that, man, and they realize that they got them one, and you know what I'm saying? She's sending crazy DMs. It's a crazy world, dog. So it's not just single people, bro. It's people have gotten bitten by this bug. You know what I'm saying? This comparative lifestyle. You can be in a full-blown relationship. This person watches influencer stuff from the beer girl or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And she's seeing her jet setting and gallivanting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got this nice organized closet full of all of these gadgets and gizmos. And now that stuff's in your Instagram cart. Sounds specific, but I'm just giving examples. All right. All right. Because the comparison never ends, man. So it's about who got the bug. So that's part of the vetting process too, man. Yeah. So it's not the fact that they on social media or the blah, blah, it's are they influenced by
it's what they're doing. Yeah, it's the activity, it's the behavior.
Yeah. Man. Because they ain't even got a post to be on that.
Yeah. Well, I would say all single people have the bug, but not all people who have the bug are single. So I definitely hear where you're coming from, but I believe that there is a correlation between this kind of internet behavior and the likelihood that somebody was able to make the right kind of calculation. And again, man, like, look, if you are somebody who doesn't want marriage and family, and you just are content with being single, then by all means, be on the dating apps, be 30, 35, 40 plus, still, you know, allowing yourself to be arraigned in the human zoo. Go at it, bro. Have at it. But what you and I both know very well is there is a ton of people all over the place who are confused, who are lamenting the state of affairs, who are complaining about the opposite sex, blaming everybody, talking about how I wish that I could do this, but I can't because this is bad. Men are bad, women are bad, the dating pool is bad, all of this stuff, right? So you're saying things that are consistent with the personality type of an individual who wants to be off the market, yet you've lived your entire life constantly making the kind of calculations that inevitably lead to a person being off the market. I mean, being still on the market. And it's sad, bro. It is, man. And like, I got my own demons that I have to deal with and reconcile, of course, but that's one area where I can say I've been off that narcotic, because the longer you stay on these apps, bro, the longer that you're behaving, the longer that your internet activity is consistent with this stuff, it's like I said, man, there's always a girl with a bigger butt. There's always a girl with a cuter face. There's always a girl with a more in-shape body. There's always a girl with nicer, longer hair. There's always a guy who's taller. There's always a guy who drives a better car. There's always a guy with a fancier job. There's always a guy who makes more money. There's always something better. If you're just indoctrinated in this madness, there's never an end to you believing you can do better, which means that there's never a point where you can learn to be content and just grow and be happy with where you are. Like, it's sad. It's a disease. It's a disease, man. It's a disease. I remember telling you the story about, you know, I got involved in the conversation that I was having with my sister, who was on the phone with a friend of hers from college, and they were talking about men. And so my sister put me on the phone with her, and she was trying to come to an understanding as to why she can't find a good guy, or why there seemingly aren't enough good guys for her, or it just seems like no guy's good enough. And I asked her to list off the qualities that she looks for in a man, and she said that she looks for a man who's ambitious. And, you know, I basically laid out a scenario for her where I was like, okay, well, what if you met a guy who was like the area manager for Walmart, and he was making close to 6 figures a year, but he manages Walmarts. That's his job. And she told me she wouldn't date the guy because he works at Walmart. So at that point, it's not even about a man who has ambition. It's about the type of ambition.
Yeah, she want motion.
Yeah, and what is it that has informed you that that's not a kind of ambition that's good enough for you? What's told you that? you know, and we're all walking around doing this kind of stuff. So I really do kind of feel like this pop the balloon stuff is a reflection of that, even if it is like, you know, opportunistic forms of entertainment. I hear you on that, but it nevertheless does reflect some kind of sickness within the population.
It does.
In my opinion.
It does, man. So trust me, man, in order to put this show out, you know, and with a smile on your face and sit here and tell me that, you know, it's actually here to benefit humanity, you know, those people are sick themselves. So, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. It's all part of the game, bro. But yeah, I just think that this is where we're at, man. You know, the people that you hang around, the people that you interact with, man, it's just really important to see how far off the grid they are. And I spent quite a bit of time on social media, but you know what I'm saying? I do it with a particular lens on. If I do feel like it's impacting my decision making, you know, I dial back. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're dealing with people who are moving through this world not by happenstance but intentionally, and they can sit there and they can articulate certain things, you stand a fighting chance. That doesn't mean you're exactly going to be safe from that person, but at least know who you're dealing with and know that, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? But if they're just out here on zombie mode, they seen a post and now they want that themselves. That's a dangerous person to be around. That's a person, honestly, you can't trust. You know, you're just as valuable as the latest video they saw. So just keep that in mind, man. So just stay safe, y'all. Oh man, it's a crazy world.
It is crazy, man. And look, there are a lot of human beings in the world today, not everybody, men and women, and you guys are in a similar situation to myself. I know I'm not alone in this. You've made many calculations. Look, you're not alone. That's all I can say. I can't give you a solution. I can't give you an answer. It's an unsolvable riddle to a certain extent because there's no time machine. You can't go back and undo the decisions that you made, but you're not alone, guys. Like, there's a lot of us out here who want to do right, and we acknowledge the miscalculations that we've made, and now we just have to try to make the best of it.
Yeah, true, man. So, hey, shout out to the balloon poppers. I guess,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah, shout out to y'all, man, because I ain't watching that damn show.
Yeah, it's crazy. This stuff is crazy, man. I don't know what we doing, man, but I just wish us good luck. We close things up.
How fitting.
I know. We close things out with Young Thug, who did a public speaking engagement at a charter school in Georgia, where he basically coached middle school age kids, I believe, on moving militant and the value of fame and how fame is important. Fame can be just as important as money. How to curate fame, how to keep it close, and then how to just make sure that you're moving properly so that you can maintain your fame. It's kind of weird message for middle schoolers, but I'm not the person who called up Young Thug and asked him to come talk to kids.
Right.
All right. So this says Young Thug tells middle schoolers to move militant during visit. Fame really the most important. Young Thug dropped some straightforward advice about the power and responsibility that come with fame while speaking to young students in Macon, Georgia. The Atlanta rapper recently visited Cyrus Academy Charter School with his manager, Isaiah Reed, where he spoke to a packed room of students about navigating success and the importance of handling celebrity. During his talk, Thug argued that fame can carry influence comparable to enormous wealth. So I'll just skip all of this because I'll play the little video here. Thug went on to explain that becoming famous also requires someone to become much more intentional about how they carry themselves and use the opportunities that come with their platform. The school appearance came days before Thug's older brother, Quantavious Greer, better known as rapper Unfunk, was released from prison. Greer was released on parole from Macon State Prison on August 11th after serving time for violating the conditions of the plea agreement he reached in the YSL RICO case. In 2022, Greer accepted a plea deal that resulted in a 12-year sentence, which was commuted to time served, followed by 10 years of probation. Among the conditions of the agreement were a curfew and a restriction preventing him from contacting Thug. So here's some of the things he said. It's very important. You got to keep up with it. You got to always make sure it leads to the right room. Got to know how to move totally different. You got to move militant. And fame is really the most important. If you're famous, you're almost as important as the richest person in the room. So fame is like more so the money for us. So fame is really the most important. So here's this very cringe video.
So fame is really the most important. If you're famous, you're almost as important as the richest person in the world. So fame is like more so like the money for us. So fame is really the most important. It's very important. You gotta keep up with it. You gotta always make sure it leads you to the right room. You gotta know how to move. You gotta move totally different. You gotta move militant. So many things people don't know about fame. That's like very important. You gotta know how to move. You gotta know how to be, because you end up in like situations. I've ended up in situations.
Yeah, he has ended up in situations, hasn't he?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know who made that call, but what did you think about the advice he gave to these middle schoolers?
At first, I wanted to give this guy 1,000 lashes. It'll probably only be 999 lashes, because I think those girls asked him, the way they were standing there waiting for his response and looking at him like that. They may have asked him about the fame and how do you handle it.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was just coming straight out like, fame is everything. If you ain't got fame, you ain't got nothing. It's like, bro, what is your deal, bro? Which to a degree is kind of what he's saying. But I'm picking up what he was getting at least with how he was answering it, is that when you're famous, you just can't do anything you want anymore. Him saying move militant is, he's, street stuff. Basically what he's saying is you got to move strategic and move smarter. Basically how I say is like HR can get involved. You can't just leave messy DMs anymore. you can't even text somebody some weird off the wall stuff because somebody can screenshot it or whatever, man. And honestly, that's not even when you're famous. It's just for somebody that could possibly just want to go viral. If somebody just got an Instagram presence or a TikTok presence and you sent something or you said something and now all of a sudden your voice memo is getting circulated around the internet. You know what I'm saying? And you're just trying to not waste your time on the second date. So moving strategic for him was not allegedly organizing hits and other things. That boy was out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? So I get what he's saying for that, but I think, and the thing that's really going to get all the lashes is whoever invited him to talk to middle schoolers. Right. I get it. Like if you're a principal and you want to connect with the kids with somebody that they identify with, and you want to seem cool or whatever you're into as a principal or the administrative body that invited Young Thug to talk to middle schoolers. Okay. So whatever that thought process was, you got an answer like that at speaking to your kids, the kids that are on the fringe that actually like Young Thug, which is something you should coach out of them. Not invite to come speak to double down on dangerous rhetoric like fame is everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to give Jeffrey all the lashes here. I'll still issue him his, but I will also bestow these lashes towards the administrative body of that school who ushered him in, that thought that this would possibly turn out to be a good idea. I don't care how much they like him. Whenever you bring the Glorrillas, the Sexy Reds, the Lottos, the Young Thugs, the Lil Uzi Verts, or anything like that to a school function, middle school, high school, elementary, because I've seen Sexy Red at very young events.
Yeah.
Okay. So any type of these events, you know, that stuff should be banned and banished. Will it? No, it won't. But you will forever get criticism from me. And I don't care what kind of wise things they said. And if the first song they get up and perform is Booty Hole Brown. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Not having it, man. But what are your thoughts, man, on Young Thug schooling the youth, allegedly? Telling them that, hey, man, fame is more important than having money in a lot of contexts. You got to move militant. What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. That was all well said. But hey, these rappers are the spokespersons for our people, right?
Yeah.
They are our representation. You know, Power Book 99,000 Raising Canaan authentically represents Black and Latino communities, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, whenever they bring these individuals on to the BET Awards, they say that this is a night for culture. They don't say that this is a night for music culture. They don't say this is a night for music. They don't say that this is a night for art. They say this is a night for cultural, generally speaking, as a general term. This is a night for culture because, you know, people like him and the music that he creates speaks for me, and that is my culture. So why wouldn't they bring him to a middle school to speak to young kids, especially given the trials and tribulations that he went through, right? So now he's able to speak to middle school kids about, you know, being, you know, down and out, and how to build yourself back up, right? Because he was in prison and now he's out. So there's a valuable lesson to be had in letting kids know, hey, you know, this is how I was able to build myself back up. You know, there's inspiration in that, I suppose.
Right.
But, you know, look, man, this is our culture. These individuals speak for our culture. And so it is what it is. There's no surprise to me there. And also, and I don't say this, you know, because I'm proud to say it or happy to say it, or because I think it's a good thing, but fame has become something that does free people. In this current culture, in this current society, fame in many respects is as good as currency. If you can leverage it properly, it does put you into certain rooms. Now, I would argue that those are very weird rooms. I would argue that those are very weird rooms that you shouldn't want to be in. But be that as it may, if you build up your internet cachet and you get your attention currency up, you can oftentimes leverage that in order to propel yourselves in various respects throughout the world. So he isn't totally wrong in saying that. Of course, I think that that's fundamentally flawed because and this is just my personal belief. I believe humans should be figuring out ways to contribute to society, and the various ways in which you can contribute to society, leverage that in order to free yourself. That's how I think it should go. But of course, this is not the world according to JV Wins. And so long as a person has enough gumption and no moral code to speak of, if you're willing to seek fame in any possible respect, it can free you in certain ways. I don't think that that's a good thing, but that is the world and that is society as it is currently constructed. So as odd as it is that he was there giving that cringe-worthy performance, he nevertheless did say something that is constructive, even if I would never have called him to make that appearance in the first place.
Yeah, and I would not have, you know, it makes sense to a degree, but middle schoolers don't need to hear that.
They don't. No.
And and the part where you said where, you know, basically not having a moral code is where a lot of this stuff comes from. And, you know, Young Thug doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. And he will do and say anything in order to maintain that thing. And see that, and that's the part that he's not talking about. Where he said how important it is. He genuinely believes this. And this is why there's a lot of people that have made it. And I've said that the only reason why they're successful, air quote, the reason why everybody knows their name is because they'll do and say anything in order to get that notoriety, you know. So for instance, like Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy is crazy. He's a crazy person, but crazy about being famous. And he'll do and say anything in order to whatever. The reason why he's still relevant to this day is because of that. So Young Thug, the stuff that he was doing, the wearing the dress, the calling, his friends Bay and doing all these other things, amongst was really interested in doing. He also knew what kind of reaction it would get, and he said, "I'll do anything," because were there other rappers on the spectrum before Young Thug? Absolutely. All right, but Young Thug was willing to take it there because he knew what came with that, and so he'll do and say anything. And so I never put that past him. And for him to say that is true. And the dangerous part about telling young people that, young impressionable people that, because they can see it on the interview. I know they can see that, but it's different when he sit here and he looks you in dead in the eye and said, "Fame is everything. It's more important than money." And then she goes, "Do whatever it takes to get fame." You know what I'm saying? It's literally hypnosis, bro.
Yeah.
So I would not have invited this demon into my classroom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or my auditorium hall. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, it is what it is with these people, man. I'm sure the principal watches Pop the Balloon. So, so there's nothing. I wouldn't put anything past that principal, bro.
Yeah.
So, it's wild business, man. But best of luck to them kids. I'll shout out to them kids in that room, man. I rebuke any type of energy that Young Thug may have passed on to them, man. Crazy stuff. But hey, man, did Young Thug learn his lesson? Doesn't sound like it. So we're definitely gonna see more thugging in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, the teachers for sure definitely watch it. I feel very comfortable saying that. I'm pretty sure them teachers in there watch that stuff.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That is going to do it for us today. Thank you to everybody joining us in for today's stream. Shouts out to my brother M. Duddies, as always. My brother, salute to you. Always been a follower of the channel. We certainly appreciate your patronage, as always, man. Check me out on JV Wins, or JVWINS on Instagram. Check out the channel on TikTok and Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. And download the podcast, man. Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search us out, Conscious Approach. We are there, man. Just trying to continue to grow this community. YouTube is doing something weird with the algorithm, or maybe we're just speaking too much truth. I don't know which is which, but we're just trying to ride out this little weird thing that YouTube has going on before we start getting served up once again. But as I always like to say, man, don't be a group thinker. Have a mind of your own. Think for yourself. Don't make miscalculations when you're in a point in your life in which you should make the right calculation. Always make the right calculation. But with that said, man, I'm signing off. Until next time, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Making the right calculations over here, man. Hey, man, the name is Dogon SS. Skr. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube, DraftKings, MySpace, FanDuel, Twitter, X, Meta. Hey, man, if there's a social media platform, Dogon_SS is also out there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow, and all that good jazz. And as I say every week, guys, we greatly appreciate you all for watching. Consciously leaving comments, sharing these videos, because, hey, you can't keep all these jewels to yourself, man. That will be hoarding. Man, I saw a clip of that lady that was saying that she was hoarding, saying she's been eating feces for 12 years, man. Have you seen that clip, bro?
No, she probably watched Pop the Balloon too.
No, I don't know what that lady watched, man. Oh man, golly. So hey, man, when you got free time, bro, it's funny though. It's funny when she just admitted, I've been eating poop for 12 years. Oh, hey man, hey. And as I say every episode, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next episode, ladies and gentlemen, I still got more rings than Shaquille O'Neal. We'll see y'all next week, y'all.
That's right, man. Shaq gonna go eat them cupcakes. Shaq eat them cupcakes, baby. All right, y'all. Until next time, we are out. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you later. Peace.
Man, you see what time it is, man. Okay, baby. Yeah.